Yes. And welcome to a brand new episode of the Jams and Cocktails Live podcast. I'm Brad Brock, and I'll be your host this evening. We've got a super fun show for you tonight because we're hanging with the awesome folk trio, the Killbillies. Woo! That's right, you guys. We're going to get to know Ben, James, and Hector throughout the evening and get some live tunes from them as well. Also joining me in the studio tonight, as always, is the intoxicating Miss Jordan Taylor.
Or Brittany.
And the man with the plan, Mr. Derek Zugel.
She's intoxicating. I'm just intoxicated.
Very nice. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. And thank all of you so much for joining us live this evening. And a thanks to those of you catching the replay on our Roku channel or listening to us wherever you listen to podcasts. Please take a moment to give us a like, share, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We love that. We love that so much. And I think actually takes care of all of our clerical work. So I think we're going to kick it off with this week's Shot of the Week. So Derek, I'm gonna have you run and get the shots of the week out of the fridge. Whoop, whoop. I'm glad that Derek is here today.
Wow.
There's always something. There's always something that is not being taken care of by me, and that's why we have Derek. So the shot of the week, you guys, is the blue mango Jello shot. And it's very simple. If you know how to make Jello, you're going to make it with berry blue Jello, 1 part blue curacao, 1 part Code Rum mango tango, 1 part pineapple juice. We forewent the garnishes and so we're just going straight on for it. Just so you know, there are some special ones for you there, Ben. So be sure to get the right one.
Extra special.
Yeah, extra special. It's got a little note on the top. Yeah, good deal. All right. So we're going to go to the wheel here. We'll get some music back on. We got the jams for Jams and Cocktails. Look at you guys. You look so pro-fesh up there. So I like to choose Jello shots because they're hilarious to watch everybody take.
God damn it.
So, yeah. So when we have you guys on, or when we have like a group of people, new people, we usually like to put them through the Jello shot challenge. So cheers to you guys, the Killbillies. Thank you so much for being here. Cheers to you guys here in the lounge. Cheers to the Kevin McLaughlin is our special guest sound man who you've not seen back there. He's hiding in the shadows tonight, but you all know him well. Kevin, get one? All right. Good deal. Cheers, you guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Delicious. How's it going over there, Jordan? How are your tonguing skills?
It went.
Not as good as Derek's, clearly. Go ahead. Do we need to do it? We need to do a close up here. Go ahead. Get into that Jello shot. If you guys are just listening to the show, you're not getting the real visual here. Go ahead. Yeah, just like Jordan. John McDonald.
No, don't use your fingers. Come on.
Yes.
There you go.
Why won't it come out?
Squeeze the thing. Oh, that didn't help. Oh, there.
There you go. Yeah.
Is that something you said quite often to Brad? Why won't you take it out?
Yeah, pretty much. Nice. Good job, Jordan. I did want to mention that you mentioned John McDonald. We had a guest on here, John McDonald, an amazing trop rock artist. And my man, I don't know if he's ever taken a Jello shot before, but we all did it. And all of a sudden you just hear like, I don't know, sounds of choking. and we're just kind of involved. And I look over and John, my man, John's got this whole cup in his mouth. Like, it's stuck in there.
That's how I felt.
And he was laughing so hard he wasn't able to get it. Oh man, it was brilliant. John McDonald, we love you. Jordan, you almost gave him a run for his money there. You guys join us each week for our shot of the week by visiting jncpodcast.com and seeing what we got planned. And then you can get all the ingredients you need delivered to your door from our friends at Drizzly.
Drizzly,
that's right. All right, you guys. Well, we are not going to pussyfoot around. It's my new word, pussyfoot. We're not going to pussyfoot around. It is time to get to know our guests. They're actually going to kick off this segment with a tune. So, you guys, give it up for the Killbillies.
But we were happy for the ocean in between. Looking for a new start, we sadly said farewells. Found what we were looking for and more than we had bargained for. Rounding, no one cares much where you're from, just as long as you got it going on. Instead of who do you think you are, we say who do you want to be. Though it ain't easy, I'm at it so it seems, for the last shreds of a promised dream. We were tough and we were cunning and we looked out for ourselves, but we were still ladies and gentlemen, I'd say. We carved out a living with help from all our friends. I play music, Christy, while she rents boats by the day. And round here no one cares much where you're from, just as long as you know right from wrong. Instead of who do you think you are, we say who do you want to be. And though it ain't easy, I'm at it so it seems, for the last shreds of a promised dream. And it ain't all sunshine and roses, bad apples, yeah there's a few suicides and overdoses that break our heart, that break it in two, as the worst year of our lives crashes down around us still. I'm just glad that I'm alive and sucking on this bitter pill, 'cause round here no one cares much where you're from. We just care that you keep it on. Instead of who do you think you are, we say who do you want to be. And though it ain't easy, I'm at it so it seems, for the last shreds of a promised dream. And though it ain't easy, I'm at it so it seems, for the last shreds of a promised dream.
Awesome. All right, we're gonna let the guys get their instruments down and get their take a seat, because we're about to grill them super hard about their innermost personal lives. We're gonna rip them to shreds. We're gonna learn everything there is to know about.
Can't wait.
I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna be that hard on you guys. I'm not gonna be that hard on you. But I might.
It's all right. We can take it. We're big boys.
Good. That's good to know. The obvious is to give us a little bit about the origins of the Killbillies. I know this isn't the original lineup, so if you want to start back at the gritty beginning,
Yeah.
and then clearly this is the best lineup.
Well.
I'm gonna say that.
Honestly, we've got pretty tight lately, and I'm really proud of what we're doing. The way that it all started out was there's this guy Keith Ahern, who sadly has passed now, an Irish guy, and he was in this band called the Lahinch Mob, a really good band. Terrible name, really good band.
No kidding.
Yeah, I don't know, it's especially in this day and age, unbelievable. But yeah, they were really good though, and I'm still friends with a couple of the guys. But hard drinking, played Irish music, and and they played a lot around the area. They were really busy, and you'd always find them in like O'Shea's and places like that. And the band broke up for one reason or another. One of the guys died. I mean, they really went for it drinking wise. They were real professionals at it. And
Sounds like my people.
and the band ended up breaking up, and Keith was looking for stuff to do. So he was going on these Irish comedy tours where he was the MC for a bunch of Irish comedians. And every time he'd come home, he would he was trying to put together a band, and Micah Scott, who's a local musician.
Oh yeah,
great musician.
Great, yeah.
He had played at my wedding about the year before, and when I moved to Florida in like March of 2010, around then, the first person I called was him. I was like, I need to make money. How can I figure this out? I need to play music. He was like, I think a little bit freaked out by it. Didn't call me back immediately, and then a couple of months later, he calls me and he goes, "Oh, I've got this gig." So we went up to actually Port St. Lucie, that Irish pub here.
The Shindig?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We played my first gig.
It's like walking distance from here.
Yeah,
It's walking distance if you're completely sober. It's crawling distance if you're not.
That's great.
It's true. You're so close.
That explains all the cars driving past without the lights on.
100%.
So that was my first gig in Florida, was with Micah like that. And then very shortly afterwards, Keith had got in touch with him because Micah had played with the La Hinch Mob before, and he knew Keith well. He'd played with him a bunch. And so me, Micah, and Keith all got together, and I had a conversation about starting a band. Micah wanted to call it King Billy, and which I think it was like a name of some Scottish something from Scotland. I'm not exactly sure what. And then Keith and I almost at exactly the same time went, "What about Killbillies?" And so it ended up being called that.
Nice.
And yeah, Micah was like, "Yeah, that's a good idea." So we called the band that, and it was 3 people for a while, and then Keith went off on the Irish comedy tour, and when he was away one of the times, Micah and I went out and played some gigs. Really pissed Keith off when he came back and he said he didn't want to be in the band anymore. So
you kept trying to continue, and he was mad that you continued without him.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know. Everyone was drinking a lot at the time, and I'm not really sure whether he was that mad about. Anyway, he didn't want to be in the band anymore, and me and Micah carried it on, and we did it as a duo for a while, and then with him on the kick and me on the snare. We used to switch around instruments a lot more back in the day too. He'd play a slide guitar and all sorts of different stuff, and I'd play the mandolin more, and because he was a guitarist, and we went on as a duo for a while, and then Luke Pennell, who's a local guy, he's been in a few bands and also did his own solo thing for a while. He joined on stand-up, which he had never played before, and this is a theme for the Killbillies. None of the stand-up bass players we've ever had played stand-up bass before this band.
No kidding.
Yeah. So
including Hector?
Including Hector.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah. So Luke learned the bass for the band, which is very good of him. And we played for a while, and then we went on tour, went up the East Coast. It was pretty good, but we started to rub each other the wrong way. Luke didn't want to do it anymore by the end of it, kind of fell out. I can't exactly remember why or what happened, and it's probably best not to go into it in case I say it wrong or something. But
and this is marked in history forever.
Yeah, but Anyway, so Luke left, and then we were a duo for a little while, and then Zach Mahoney Hoffman, who's another guy who was down here. He was a friend of mine who I met him at the School of Rock, because I used to work at School of Rock, and he was a bass player and a guitar player. And I was like, hey, if you learn how to play stand-up bass, you can come be in my band. And he was like, all right. So he did the same thing. He bought a bass and learned how to play it, and then we were a 3-piece again, and then it expanded to a 5-piece. There was this guy Virgil Price who played the accordion in it. If you listen to our second album, you can hear a ton of accordion over the whole thing. That's Virgil. And then also a bunch of different people used to come and play fiddle. We never really settled on one, but Paddy King, we did it for a while.
Paddy, great. We love him.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So it was great. We had this kind of revolving. Carl Schmid, you know Carl? He's another great local violinist. And yeah, so Carl was probably the violinist that was in the band for the longest, and we were a 5 for quite a long time. And then what with the shenanigans and the drinking and different people in the band deciding they wanted to get sober and stuff, it just kind of fell to pieces. And then we all kind of went our separate ways for a couple of years. And then some of my friends and family and people like that around me were like, we missed Killbillies, you bring it back. And I missed it. I was doing this other project called Ben Childs and the Whales, which was quite fun. It didn't really have a direction. It was a lot of things, and had never really figured out what it was. And so I stopped doing that, and it was partly to do with Zach was on me to restart the band. So we did, and it was right at the beginning. It was James, myself, and Zach, and Luke for a very short period of time. I don't think we ever played. I think we played one gig with Luke, and then for a little bit, he was on guitar at this point. Same Luke Powell, and then it's like Spinal Tap. This list of members. But, then
I know. I'm like I'm taking notes here mentally.
I know, yeah. Then Luke ended up not doing it, and then at the beginning of the pandemic, Zach was kind of going through this sort of life change. He wanted to move away and stuff like that, and so he left, and James and I were kind of umming and ahhing about what to do about that. And James was playing in this band, is still playing in this band called Euphobia with Hector.
Yeah, all right.
And James was like, "What about Hector?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, brilliant. Let's give it a go." And Hector showed up, and he had an acoustic bass, and started off like that. And then we kind of were on him a little bit to be like, "Oh, go on, learn the double bass," and he did. And at this point, Hector is just really good at it. He's the best, no shade on the others, but he's the best bass player we've had so far. He's learned how to slap it and everything. It's great.
No kidding. Yeah.
So we're really
and I have to say, for Hector, like, I've seen a lot of people play stand-up bass, and now you guys are watching at home. Hopefully, for the love of God, please give us the ratings. No, but you're watching, and like, it's tough to judge. And Jordan and I were actually talking about this. It's tough to judge like people's stature, I suppose, when all you see of them is in photographs, social media, videos, things like that, right? So I've now met Ben twice, Hector twice as well, James for the first time. Every time I've met Ben, I've been like, whoa, you are way taller than I thought you were going to be. And Jordan even said the same thing. She's like, wow, he's a lot taller. And I was like, I think it's because Hector is a big dude himself.
Right.
Like so tall, but
I know I'm small in comparison. Yeah, absolutely.
But I feel like it works for the bass. Like, you look like you belong on that bass. Because I've seen, we've been talked about this on your podcast. Like, I worked on cruise ships. I've seen quite a bit of people playing stand-up bass, much smaller stature, and it's almost a parody.
Almost comical.
Right? It's a little
reach up really high.
It's really funny. But anyway, I just wanted to make that connection because, I think you guys found your trio here.
I think
this is good.
I'm having a great time. Long may it last. I'm just kind of, crossing my fingers that, I don't do something to.
I have an announcement to make.
Here.
This is our last gig. No, I'm kidding.
So
Breaking news.
Your last gig of the day, right?
Exactly. Yeah, the irony is he was talking about how each bass player has kind of taken up the stand-up bass.
Right.
And the irony of it is they were on me to learn stand-up bass, and I was playing my acoustic bass and stuff, and I said, okay, fine, I'll do it. And I think I was going through, like, I don't know, Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or something, and I found some bass, and the price was right. It was like a fairly entry-level bass, mid-range or whatever. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy this. And then I reached out to the guy via email or whatever, and then all of a sudden my phone rings, and it's Zach, the old bass player, and he goes, hey, did you just message me about a bass? It was his bass, yeah. So my first stand-up bass was the last bass player's other bass.
It was like it was meant to be.
So, yeah,
it was meant to be.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Small world.
So my first stand-up bass was a Killbillies bass.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
The other thing that Zach said to him is, if you put a little bit of work in, you're going to be in the top 10 stand-up basses in the area, and Hector was all like, "Oh wow, you know, he must think I'm a really good bass player." And then Zach goes, "Yeah, there's like 9 of us in South Florida."
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you definitely be in the top 10.
Top 10, baby.
That was easy.
Oh man. Well, that's awesome. So like that's funny, man. That's not I didn't expect that Micah Scott was actually part of the brainchild of Killbillies. That's really great.
He was, and you know, he's doing his own thing now, and it's really great what he's doing, and he's gone in his own direction. I recently, you know, been chatting with him more than I was doing in the previous years, and it's just nice to see him doing well and playing his music. And you know, he got signed to a label and stuff, and he's got great music out there. So you know, if you want to hear some really authentic, amazing Americana, look out for Micah Scott. He was my first friend down here. He's a good friend of mine. He's a cool guy.
I'm gonna say this right now, Micah, if you're watching, I've reached down to you, and then the pandemic happened, so you get a pass on this. But I'm coming for you, baby. Was that too sexual?
A little bit.
Nah.
Okay.
It's very aggressive.
Not for this show.
Yeah, dude.
We're not on Roku yet.
That's fair. That's fair. We are on Roku.
Not live.
Not live. Yeah. They won't accept us yet. We have too much of a foul mouth. Well, that's awesome. So I guess now that we have that kind of overview, let's dive a little bit into you guys personally. I'm going to start with Ben. Clearly, you are not from the great land of America, but where are you from in England, and what was your catalyst for moving to the States?
Okay, so I was born in London. My mum and dad moved us out to the countryside when we were quite young. Then I ended up moving back to London for a brief period of time, my early 20s, and then I moved to Manchester to study. And I stayed in Manchester. I ended up staying there for a long time because I joined this sort of ska punk band called Sonic Boom 6, which is, I don't know if you're into that kind of thing, maybe you find it interesting. We did a lot of quite experimental stuff. We did rapping, and it was kind of like a, you know, there was a lot of like ragga and ska and rap, and it was just a whole mess of stuff. One of our albums was called The Rough Guide to Genre Terrorism. So that's the idea of the
literally
vibe.
just exactly what it's, or the description of what it is.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. And we all got to kind of, you know, live out our various fantasies of being in punk rock bands and being rappers and stuff like that. It was really cool. I loved it. And, you know, all of our songs had a political message, and it was very punk in that way. We were DIY. We went all over the world, went to Europe and Japan, and came over here a bunch of times. And that's kind of how I met my wife. She was in Manchester, England, studying for a PhD, and I met her through a mutual friend. And then she was a big punk and ska punk fan. You know, favorite bands are Rancid and Less Than Jake, and so she came to watch us play, and then she thankfully harassed me into going out with her because I'm terrible at that stuff.
Right.
Really awful at it, in fact. And yeah, she called me a few times, and actually sort of, you know, it was like, it's all right, you know, because I always just assume people are like uninterested or, you know, too hot for me or something like that. But so she called me a few times until I was like, okay, I'll come out, and I went out, and it all worked out. And yeah, now, you know, we've been together for a long time. Been together like 15 years or something like that.
Amazing.
And the first couple of years of our relationship, 3 or 4 years, we lived in England, and then I'd kind of reached this sort of point up with touring where I realized that it was kind of either I am married or I'm on tour. It couldn't be both.
Right. There was a divide.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have been all right if we weren't like a DIY punk band and we had a huge bus and everyone could come with us all the time. But it was just, you know, life on the road is pretty hard, and there's not a huge amount of like space for tons of other people, and you know, and she was living her own life, and she didn't want to just kind of, you know, follow me around everywhere all the time. And so that, and also the fact that I was starting to get interested in kind of folk music and Americana to the point where I wasn't really, it's not that I wasn't feeling the music. I was just like feeling other music more. You know, I just wanted to do something else.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
and so I ended up leaving, and then about 6 months. So we lived in Manchester for about 6 months after I left the band, and that was a very weird experience because it kind of felt like my life before I joined the band. I felt like my student days. I was like, what am I doing? I felt like I'd regressed almost.
Sure.
And and so Christy got offered this job. She finished her PhD, and she got offered this job at Scripps in Abercoa, which is a research institute.
Right.
And she got the job, and you know, she was like, "Shall I take it? Shall I take it?" And I said, "Yeah, why not? Let's move to the US." I'd been to the US loads of times before. My dad had lived in New York for a while, and I'd toured over here a whole bunch, and I'd been to visit her family over here loads, so it didn't feel like that strange.
Well, it would be super comfortable because basically all of New York comes here during the winter.
Yeah.
So it's like all the people that you may have met there are probably here
Yeah, exactly.
right now.
Exactly, yeah. Including her family, you know, who ended up staying here. They've been here for about 20 years, but they're all from New York, yeah. And yeah, so I ended up moving here, and then, you know, that kind of tacks nicely onto the story I was saying about the first person I called was Micah, who was the guy who played it. Because we got married over here, then we went back to England and lived in England for another year, and so she got this job, and then we both ended up moving over here. It wasn't some kind of like, oh, it was always my dream to move to America or anything like that, and my life wasn't like bad in England or anything. Christy got a job here, and so we moved, you know.
And I feel like most of the most interesting things that happen to you are because of opportunity, or you're thrust into greatness in some way. You know, like I feel like we're just a bunch of ping pong balls or pinballs, just beep, 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 just running around life, man.
Yeah, it feels like it.
Well, I'm certainly glad that you came here.
Yeah, man.
Because now we can have evenings like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm having a blast.
So touching on Sonic Boom 6, because I feel like you grazed over that in such a way. This was a massive group. They have their own Wikipedia page.
Yeah,
you have to be a big deal to get that. and I remember you had mentioned to me when we did your podcast, you know, that this group took you around the world.
Yeah,
and you got to see a lot of culture and places touring with this group. So tell me a little bit about touring with a band like that and that kind of lifestyle and yeah, I mean, you already elaborated a little bit on the musical style.
The musical style was a lot of different crazy stuff jammed together. We fit kind of the best into the ska punk scene because there was guitars and occasionally offbeats, but we weren't a regular ska punk band, so we had to kind of form our own fan base. That we weren't really like a cookie cutter ska punk band, so it took quite a long time to persuade people to like us, you know,
right?
Because we weren't immediately like obviously what they expected, and especially in Manchester, because Manchester is like an indie town, you know, it's like Oasis and the Smiths and stuff like that, and the ska punk scene there wasn't very big in the 90s. The third wave of ska that happened here pretty much happened in the UK as well. It came over to the UK and it was a big deal, and everyone. There was tons of ska punk bands and all the kids used to go. It was just like here, really, in the 90s. And when by the time we got to all this, it was the kind of early 2000s. So it was kind of like the end of that scene and the beginning of like what is gonna be next. So there was all these kind of bands that were half ska but kind of turning into emo bands, and there was all these kind of bands that were going more metal or going more hip hop or going more reggae.
Everybody tries to find the stream.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta. I mean, there's pop in everything, and so everybody tries to find a little bit. So I love that evolution, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and it was a
personally.
really interesting time to be playing these shows because you never knew what you're going to get with local bands. Because to drum all of the bands that used to be ska punk bands, when they came to support us, they were turning into something else. So we'd have these really weird bills. But it was cool. It was a lot of fun. And at first we just used to tour around the UK, and that was my first experience of it. I got used to being completely broke pretty quickly because there's no money in that game at all. You know, we were very idealistic. You know, it was about the politics and it was about the music and about like kind of like the lifestyle, and we were all just completely broke all the time. But you know, just kind of learned how to do that, learned how to be broke. You know.
Yeah.
And if you know that whole kind of if you don't play, you pay kind of thing. So we were
Right,
just
right.
always playing, and we played like 300 days out of the year. We were always somewhere,
Wow.
and it was cool. We just went to Europe. We started off in the UK, and then we expanded it out into Europe, and we did that for a few years. So where we were just touring, just in general in Europe and across the UK, and then we started to go to other places. By the time I left the band, I'd been to the US, I want to say 4 or 5 times, all, pretty decent tours. A couple of them were just like the Northeast, but the other ones were, across round the US. So I got to see a lot of the US, which was really cool. And it was fun, but it's when we come to the US, because of all the customs and all that kind of stuff, and because of the fact that we weren't, U2, we didn't even claim that we were coming to play music. We just came as tourists, and we'd get in a car and we'd just ring ahead and make sure there's backline everywhere we went. We were just in there with our guitars, and we did that a bunch of times on tours. And usually the way that would work was we'd have a band who'd come with us, and they would have the backline.
Right.
And we'd return a favor. They'd come to the UK and do the same thing.
Because that's a big. Don't get it twisted. The first time I ever went to England, I had no idea, and I was still pretty green and wet behind the ears. My breath smelled like carnation formula, just very young baby. And I had just gotten off of a cruise ship and was going in and had my guitar with me. And if they didn't run me through the ringer at immigration to come in, because I think they thought I was going to busk on the streets and do whatever, and really I didn't want to go home first,
Well, here's the thing. Our band was like sort of really kicking from about sort of 2002 to, well, when I was in them. They carried on. They're still a band and they're doing well. But when I was in them, 2002 to sort of 2009, and Layla, our singer, is Indian, and so coming to the US, that it was a nightmare because you guys were so racist towards brown people at the time. I understandably, sort of, because of the Twin Towers thing. And
that was right around that time.
Yeah. So it was very interesting. Very interesting trying to get into the country.
Like Cat Stevens was from England, but was an American pop star, or a pop star in America. And then when all that happened, he was even on the no-fly list because he had changed his name to Yusuf Islam.
Right.
And so here we are, Cat Stevens, world-renowned pop star, couldn't get on a plane to go anywhere.
Exactly. And if you filter that down to just, a very small band trying to get in and with no one in your corner, it was way even harder, So it was, there was that. I mean, it wasn't that bad though. We always got in, but it was definitely a consideration. So we went around the US, we went around Europe, and we also went to Japan, which was, I only did that once. There might have been more times after I left, I'm not sure, but that was one of the most crazy and wonderful experiences of my life. I had such a good time.
Yep, I've heard that.
They worked us so hard, but kind of in a good way,
Yeah.
We're being dragged from like gig to radio thing to, podcast to like some huge meal where they get us super drunk to like next gig to, it was just boom, 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 one thing after another. It was crazy.
It sounds terrible. My God. Don't ever sign me up for something like that.
The guy who was I guess our go between the label and us, who was showing us around, was also the guy for Snoop Dogg. So we were being treated like awesome,
That's
awesome. Yeah, taken to all these really nice places, and we asked for something and it would show up at the hotel. It was so cool. I definitely felt like a rock star. I think maybe there's been a couple of times in my life when I felt like a rock star. That was one of them. Then because we got to go to Tower Records, and they had like a big cardboard cutout of us, and we all standing. It's crazy, dude. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
I'm waiting for that. Nobody has made a cardboard cutout of me.
Yeah, those were some glory days for sure. And they're still going. They all have other jobs these days. For a long time it was pretty much our only thing. We'd have little gigs here and there just to kind of fill in gaps and make ends meet, but it was our main thing for a really long time. These days, Layla works for this company called Nordoff Robbins, which it's a charity that helps children with learning difficulties, and she's the artist liaison for that. She gets people to pop stars and rock stars and stuff to come to help them raise money and things.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and she gets to go to all these awesome things, like she gets to go to the Brit Awards, stuff like that.
That's awesome. Funny. Our next podcast next week is about like music superstar philanthropists.
Yeah,
we're gonna go through the list because I'd read a Facebook post from somebody. I'm not diming them out, but they basically were like, what happened to the days when rock stars would do things for charity? And I was like, are you kidding? Like now they have the money and they're just writing checks. They don't have to do these huge festivals and these huge like telethons.
Yeah.
They're just writing checks to these charities. So I just kind of wanted to put a show together that to spotlight some of these people that are literally giving back.
Yeah, man.
Everything, which is super cool. But that's very cool that she is a liaison in a way.
Yeah, she's like this artist liaison. Yeah, she's great. She's always, she could sell like anything to anyone. She's just so good at that, and she and so capable and so good at talking to people. Really cool lady. Big up Layla if you ever hear this. And then Barney was the bass player and in many ways our kind of leader in a way. He was the one who it was he and I who were perhaps the biggest creative driving forces. He was really in charge more than me. Significantly more than me. It was basically his band, and still kind of is, on the creative side at least. And now he works as I don't know what the company is, but he does all of the social media for a record label. I can't remember which one.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so they've all kind of found little spots. Nick Horn, who's the guitarist, he's like an actor now. He appears in all these different things. He's been in a bunch of really famous stuff, none of which I can remember right now because I'm in front of the camera. But yeah, so he does that, and he also goes on tour with this really cool band called King Prawn, which that's another UK ska punk band. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they're really awesome.
It does sound familiar. It actually does. As soon as you said King Prawn, I was like, oh wait, I might have heard of that.
Yeah. So Nick keeps busy with music and acting, and then. Then there was this nice bloke who replaced me, and he's involved in he's very good studio. He's like really good in the studio, so that really helped them in terms of the production side of things. I'm pretty good in the studio. This guy's amazing in the studio. So
you're saying they made an upgrade, right?
I mean, they didn't make a downgrade.
Perfect.
So yeah, I feel like I kind of left them in good hands anyway. And they carried on going. They're still a thing, and they just played last week some festival in the UK, and it always warms my heart to see that they're still going. I think it would have been a lot. It's weird because it was such a big part of my life for so long. It was the only thing in my life for so long.
Right.
And so to see him going, sometimes, I get these pulls on my heartstrings a little bit, but it was my choice. So
right.
Yeah. And I'm happy, I'm happy doing what I'm doing.
That's great. I'm glad that they're doing their thing and that you were a part of it.
Yeah.
That's something to carry with you. And what an experience,
Absolutely.
To be able to travel and play music as a job and just kind of, be in that lifestyle. It's great to grow up, and be able to look back and be like, man, that was a great part of my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Learned so much.
Definitely.
Well, to go back to the Killbillies, so there's clearly a major Irish folk sound.
Yeah.
That is involved here, but none of you are Irish, with the exception of Ben, who has Irish background.
Right. Exactly.
So Hector and James, this is going to go to you. What are your backgrounds, and how did you come to find yourselves in the Hillbillies? That's the North Carolina and South Carolina. The Killbillies.
I'm Italian American. So I'm nothing Irish, and my grandfather would probably kill me for
I'm going to stop you right there.
it.
You have amazing radio voice.
Thank you.
God, I want you to read. Can you read like bedtime stories?
Sure.
And I could record them, and then that could help me fall asleep at night. My God, you hear that, Jordan?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Derek.
A rich
There's
baritone.
Jordan.
I know. I'm jealous.
It's beautiful. Okay, carry on.
Brad's fan.
Italian
boy.
American.
I'm Italian American. And yeah, so that's my background in general. I grew up in Florida. I was born in Palm Beach Gardens, and I've been playing music for years in different bands and different projects, and I've known Hector for quite a bit of time now. And my drummer for my other band, BFD, he was the drummer for Killbillies for a little while.
Okay.
There's
a lot of interconnectivity here.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody sleeps with everybody in this industry. And
scandalous.
So he said that like they were really looking for a banjo player, and I had played banjo, I don't know, maybe 20 times. And I was like, I can play some things, like I'll learn. Kind of seems to be a big theme in the band in
No
general,
kidding.
as you can see. And so Ben sat down with me for a while because he's a great teacher in music in general, and sat down with me and taught me all the new songs, and we worked through them, and we found out my own way to play, and just kind of just learned to play along with him. We did like a lot of intense sessions at his house, like late night stuff, just like drinking our face off, making stupid like video things and posting them. And it was just like us, like, I don't know, 2:00 in the morning, still fucking playing the same songs over and over again, and just like really like pushing them down really strong and solid. And it was a lot of fun, and it was like a really big cram session, and it definitely brought all my music. I'm a bass player normally; that's my main instrument.
No kidding.
And when I switched to this, I just started enjoying it more and more. And Killbillies gave me a lot of reason to enjoy it more, and just like got me into a lot more different music than I normally listen to. Because like Ben, I'm just more of a punker and a rocker in general, and Hector is the bass player in the other band that I sing in,
right?
Euphobia.
Yeah.
So it's just a big web for all of us. It's super hard to book us to do anything for any of our like individual things, because it's
quite eclectic.
Yeah,
it definitely some eclectic things going on here. But I think that it's such a cool combination that it all comes together, because just even listening to like your live videos and things like that, like all those influences are there. Just as we were kind of talking about Hector, maybe we weren't on air yet, but Hector with the slapping of the stand-up, just all these little things. Very, very cool. Hector, what is your background, and how did you wind up in this little shindig? A little shout out to Shindig.
I met these guys about 20 minutes ago, and they handed me the bass, and here I am. No, like they said, I've been in Euphobia now for, what would you say, 3 years now with James. Yeah, so I mean I've known you for a few years now. Playing bass in Euphobia. And I actually met James, with all this interconnecting webs. I met James through Justin, who is the producer and producer of our podcast,
right,
and owner of LMC,
and guitar player of
Euphobia. And Justin and I had met because I was in a Nirvana tribute band, and Justin was my Kurt Cobain. And so that's how Justin and I met. And when we called it quits on that, we started Euphobia, or I guess Justin started Euphobia. James became part of Euphobia. Eventually, I became part of Euphobia, and so that's kind of how we all met. And like Ben mentioned, I had never played stand-up before. James, we were at band practice one night, and James was mentioning that Killbillies needed a bass player, and I think I've mentioned it to Ben before. This kind of going back, I don't know, probably 10 years or something. I remember being at O'Shea's with some friends. Some random band was up playing some music. I think at the time you might have been the 5-piece. You might have had a fiddle with you.
That seems like a lot at O'Shea's.
And I think there was it was a 4 or 5-piece at the time. But anyways, it was Killbillies, and I remember it was never music that I was really into per se. It wasn't something I would just go out of my way to listen to. I mean, I'm still stuck in the 80s. My kids will make fun of me all the time, but I'm still stuck in the 80s. Man.
Here.
I'm a Depeche Mode, Cure kind of guy. So, yeah, there we go. So, but I kind of dug the sound, and I saw the vibe on stage, and everybody was having a good time. And I actually remember turning to my wife and saying, I want to be in a band like that one day. And I had been in and out of bands.
You fished your wish. That's Beach. Like manifest destiny.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I had been in and out of bands forever. I mean, I've been playing in bands here since I was 18. I've born and raised in Palm Beach County. So, And so, fast forward to now, when James said, would you consider? I'm like, yes. Yeah. Well, but I didn't. Yeah. No, whatever.
Whatever I need to do.
Let's do it. Just do it. Pants off. No problem. Let's do it. Let's do it now. So fast forward, I bought that stand-up bass that Zach had. Yeah, Zach had. And it was kind of an old beater, and it was wood grain and stuff. And so I used that for a little bit. In fact, I think I bought that, and I don't think I even brought it out to a gig for probably a while, even because
just weren't ready.
Ben kept asking me to, and I just wasn't ready. I kept thinking I'm going to screw up so bad in front of people. And Ben's whole point was it doesn't matter because the bass is so impressive visually that it doesn't matter what you play.
It's kind of true. The visual is.
Yeah, he was like, it doesn't matter what you play.
90%.
And that was 100% true. We played at was it Dawson Singer Island. I brought the bass out for the very first time. I was all sweating. I was nervous. We played
only gonna play like 2 songs. So you're like, oh no, we're only
gonna
play like maybe
yeah. I pulled it out and I was like, I'm only gonna do like 2 songs on this bass, and then I'm gonna put it away. But like every song, I was dripping in sweat. I was playing wrong notes and whatever. And at the end of the gig, everybody's like, you guys are amazing, and you're such a good bass player. I'm like, were you listening to the same stuff I was listening to?
I was listening with my eyes.
Right? Seriously, it was crazy, but that was enough to make me go, all right, there's something to this,
Oh,
and then
great.
I stepped up to the bass I have now, and it sounds amazing. I love it. And then I would say maybe 2-3 months ago, potentially. The latest step in my journey was Ben kept insisting that I needed to slap.
Oh,
And,
there it is.
And I kept trying and I kept failing and I kept trying and I kept failing. And I would say maybe about 2.5 months ago or something, it's like somebody just flipped the switch.
Dude, that's how it happens, man. It just clicks.
Yeah, I did it at a gig and it clicked and it worked. And I was like, wait a minute. And so the next song I tried it, and the next song I tried it, and it was like, oh crap, it's been this easy all along. But
how did I not know?
Yeah,
man, it's amazing what the brain is capable. When it finally hits, it's like,
well, now that's all I want to do. Like our last gig, I started at the gig. I said, I'm going to slap every song. And so they're throwing stuff at me like slow songs, fast songs. It didn't matter. Every song I found somewhere to slap. I'm like, this is it. I'm going to slap every song.
It's funny, man. You have quite a bit, you mentioned that there were so many signs that you were supposed to be here. And I saw a post from you on social media just recently of you playing bass in a band at a place called Killbillies. And I'm not sure where it was, but I saw it and I was like, and look at him now in the Killbillies.
Yeah.
I was like, man, how do you get along that line? It's so great.
That was the Nirvana tribute. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How was that? How was being in a Nirvana tribute band?
That was my my Sonic Boom 6, if you will. Not nearly at that level. But we had fun. We traveled a lot. We traveled a lot up and down the East Coast, all the way to New York. We did a lot of that. We played, was it the Pyramid Club in New York? Just a tiny shithole of a club. That was
my favorite kind.
It was in the basement of another club. But apparently, from what I understand, before Nirvana blew up and stuff, that was one of their frequent pit stops in New York. So it was kind of cool to play that same stage. And funny side note, they, speaking of backline and coming to the US, they told us we were flying to New York, so it was a little difficult to bring our instruments and stuff. And so, we brought guitars and bass and stuff, but they told us we got a full black line, we got everything, drums, everything. And we got there and the drum set had one tom and the head was split on it.
Oh no.
So thankfully it had a head on the bottom. So he actually turned it over and just used the bottom.
Oh my God.
The back of the kick drum had no head on it. And there was nothing to keep it from going anywhere. So they took a cinder block and dropped it into the back of the kick drum to have it just not go anywhere, like just to stay in one place. It was, yeah. The big joke was like, that was about as grunge as it got.
That's pretty grunge.
It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous, but it was fun. I mean, we traveled around quite a bit. We had a lot of good, fun stories and memories and a lot of crappy hotels we stayed at, which made it even more fun. And
sure.
Yeah, it was good.
Part of the lifestyle.
Yeah. We did. And we did that. We had our original Kurt Cobain was with us for about 2 years, maybe 2.5 years. And then he moved away for just a bigger. He was a banker, and so he had a job up in New York or New Jersey or something.
Definitely made it better than the actual Kurt Cobain.
Yes, 100%. And then Justin was actually our sound guy at a gig at Swampgrass Willie's, and
Swampgrass.
We were talking to him.
I got a flyer or two up there.
Oh, yeah,
somewhere.
I think we all do.
You probably you have to rip down to probably 10 years of it to find it.
I think we've all got a few flyers up there. I think every band I've been in has a flyer.
Yeah. I love him for that.
But Justin was our sound guy, and we got to talking to him. Found out that he had this like enormous love for all things Kurt Cobain and Nirvana, and that he was a guitarist, singer. And we said, "Well, how do you feel about wearing a wig?" And and he told us he cross dresses on the weekends, and so it was
perfect.
So it was perfect.
The rest is history.
Yeah, and so it was perfect.
And then I made him a wig, and it was perfect.
Oh yeah. So, yeah. Side note. So James is a hairdresser, and so all of us in the tribute, we would buy our wigs and bring them to James to cut and style for us.
Brilliant. I love that. I was going to get to that, but I love that.
More of the intertwining of the bands. But yeah, it was fun. I mean, between the two Kurt Cobains, I'd say we did it for about 5 or 6 years. We played a lot of sold out shows when you're coming from cover bands locally playing to 6 people at the bar,
right?
When you fill out a room of 500 people, or you fill out a small, street festival of 1,500 people or something, like that's a big deal.
Feels good, right?
Feels great.
It feels good.
And that was fun. I mean, it was fun. We ended it on a high note. I mean, we were still like in kind of our prime, but it was just kind of, rather than let it fizzle out, we just kind of just went out on top and just started doing other stuff.
Love that.
So
that's great.
Yeah. So that's what that was.
Man, well, you guys are fascinating. I still have more questions, believe it or not. I'm gonna go to your records. You have two albums and a single that's available anywhere that you listen to music. You have a self-titled record, and then the more recent record, Transplant Life Reading. It's fundamental. And the new single Promise Dream, which is awesome. Yeah, if you guys tuned in early, which shame on you if you didn't, you got to hear that track twice. In fact, which is awesome. I listened to the records. I absolutely love them. You guys actually took me to church.
Oh yeah,
almost the whole time. And I felt a bit of existential and even religious redemption theme kind of throughout the songwriting. So if that's the case, like, tell me a little bit about that influence and on the records there.
So when I write, we're talking right now about the 2 albums that Micah and I predominantly wrote, and Zach also has a song on the second album that I can only really speak to my songwriting, and it's very personal. I've never been, I said this to you when you came on my podcast, no one wants to hear the songs that I write where I just pick a subject and try and write about it,
right?
Because they are just weird and bad. So like I've got a couple floating around on the internet that I'm not going to point anyone towards, but when I write songs that I consider are my better songs, they're usually things that are close to home, stuff dealing with personal politics. I try not to write about large political themes that I don't understand, more like about how certain things affect me.
Sure.
And if I do it like that, then I'm generally not talking outside of my knowledge base. Then the other thing that I try and do is I've got a lot of stuff that's happened to me, surrounding kind of addiction and stuff that's happened, in my family and stuff like that. And I find that writing is very helpful for exploring that, and kind of, processing trauma. And I also think sometimes you can get a good song out of it. I want to say, every 10 songs I write about, that kind of subject matter, like say addiction or something like that, there'll be one out of them that turns out to be like a good one. But I just have a phone just packed with my thoughts and lyrics. I find it pretty cathartic to write stuff down. Oh,
and therapeutic.
Yeah, exactly.
I've always said that it's like, sometimes you have to get it out of your head.
Yeah.
to make sense of it. If it just swirls around in there, it's just mixed with everything else. Once you put it out, it exists in real life. You know, when you write it, when you put pen to paper, now it's out there. Anybody can find it in your trash. Your trash man can go through it. Anybody, it makes it vulnerable.
Yeah.
But in a way that you're like, it's almost real. It's like telling a secret.
Right.
You know?
I got a perfect example of that. I wrote this song called Propane Tank, which is about, I was in a fire. I was in a fire.
Oh my God, wait, I know this story. Oh, this is great.
I was in this terrible fire where a propane tank fell into the fat fryer, exploded and blew the roof off the kitchen.
Oh my God.
And everyone went flying everywhere, and the head chef was very badly injured. He really terribly burned his face, and there was a pregnant woman in there. She got thrown over. She didn't lose a baby, thank God. The whole thing was awful though, and it was just preyed on me. I was traumatized by it. I didn't really know what that meant or what trauma was or anything, but couldn't stop thinking about it. I'd have nightmares about it, things like that. I couldn't shake this kind of like unfounded belief that it was in some way my fault and all this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I wrote this song about it, and I played it a whole bunch of times to a whole bunch of people in a whole load of different places, and told the story a load of times. And it's helped me deal with it, honestly.
Right?
Yeah. I feel a lot better about it now. I barely ever think about it unless we're talking about it like we are right now,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to make you bring it up.
No, it's not bad. I'm kind of over the trauma of it now, but at the time it was pretty traumatic.
Oh, that's a crazy story.
Yeah, totally. Burned my eyebrows off and stuff. It's not like there's plenty of people have suffered far worse trauma than that, but it was pretty scary, and I wrote a song about it.
I was just checking to see if you still had eyebrows.
I still got eyebrows.
They're drawn on.
They're in. They look great.
I was like, I don't know.
Looking a little sketch.
Well, speaking of
big eyebrows.
Well, speaking of writing personal songs, I want to talk a little bit about Promise Dream, which is the latest single that all of you have played on. This is a song that includes all of you guys. So clearly it's an introspective, right? And there's lines like, I play music, and Christy, well, she rents boats by the day.
Yeah.
And I love personal songwriting. That's my shit.
It's very matter of fact. That's exactly the truth.
It's exactly right.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about Promise Dream.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the music video that you guys shot for. We featured it on our show last week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what. I'll tell you about why I wrote the words, and I'll have one of these guys tell about the video. So when I wrote the song, it was right in 2020, and I'd been thinking, for months. I was like, I better write a song. I just can't just be for nothing.
Do something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, please, something come out of this. And because of that, obviously, I just dried up. Because I couldn't do it because I was overthinking it. And then it just came to me one day when I still spend and I know I'm not alone in this, but I still spend far too much time on social media. But I was just on it like 24 hours a day, when this was going on.
Yeah, what else is there to do?
Exactly. And everyone was at each other's throats, and and there was all the political nonsense going on and everything. And I wanted to write a kind of simple, matter of fact song about working people just trying to make something out of their lives, and about what was good about the world, and what was good about my life, and what I could kind of be proud of, and things I could look forward to. And it's just a little bit of a kind of potted story of my move to the US, and with just a little bit of a hopeful theme, like the idea of doesn't matter where you're from, it just matters like where you're at,
Yeah.
And that's like really was the that was one of the premises of the song, and also this kind of idea of I moved across from England, but that didn't really solve like any things I had to deal with. I had I was still me when I arrived, and I had to figure that out, and so there's a little bit of that theme in there, and then there's just a little bit of the idea that we're all just people, and just trying to get on with our lives.
I love that. I feel that to my core.
Yeah.
Really, really love the song, man. It was my first dive into the Killbillies was hearing that, because it came out during, or like kind of on the offset of the lockdown period.
Yeah.
And it hit me, man. I was like, these guys are great and they have a lot to say. And
Oh,
I
hell yeah,
really and then shortly thereafter, the 561 Music podcast came out, and I was like, they clearly have a lot to say because
Too much, some might say.
they're diving into this. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk a little bit about the 561 Music podcast, of which I was a recent guest and had such a great time with you guys. So I guess my biggest question is, what possessed you guys to dive into the podcasting world and expose yourselves to the wild and oftentimes unpredictable world of interviewing musicians?
That all started out with Ben. Ben was approached by a local radio station, and they asked him if he wanted to do like a 1 hour Sunday night local music radio show. Translation was, do you want to come do this for an hour and sell advertising for us?
Yes.
So
Pay to play.
It costs this much, and can you get the advertisers for it? So we were talking about it, and then as we were talking about it, the idea just started snowballing, and we started talking about, well, maybe we can do this, and the two of us can do it together, and we can co-host and put our heads together, and we can get more sponsors that way. And somewhere along the way, I was having the conversation with Justin at Live Music Community, and Justin said, well, why don't you guys just do it as a podcast? And the light bulb went off, and I thought, that's kind of a stupidly genius idea.
Yes. New radio.
Right. So I went and said something to Ben, and Ben said, yeah, I've actually thought about doing it as a podcast before, but I didn't know and how to do it, or I didn't know where to even begin, to do this. And then the radio thing kind of came up, and I guess that just kind of sparked the idea again. And so the two of us kind of put our heads together, and just 561 Music was born. I mean, I think we went to like a Starbucks one day. We sat down with literally like a pad and paper and started spitballing ideas and names. And while we were there, we came up with a name. I bought the domain right on the spot.
Brilliant.
That's
great.
Yeah, immediately. It's one of the, Ben and I joke around about how, he comes up with these crazy ideas, and usually like by the next day it's happening because I take it and roll with it, and that's kind of what happened with the podcast. He was talking about the radio show. We started evolving into the idea of it being a podcast. And then, we sat down, and once we had the name and the domain bought and everything, and I talked to Justin, it was like, that's it, man. Let's just do it.
And Justin's got a great spot down there, man. The live music community. And in his studio there, it's so cool, and like it's just so well set up. I felt so comfortable there.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
And like I was, because like this is my home. Like I live here, So for me to be here, it's great, But like to go somewhere else, I'm just like, oh man, like a lost sheep, I guess. But it was so great. It was so comfortable, and that's awesome, man. And your show is great. I really, really enjoy it.
We appreciate that.
And I enjoy your style and the way that you interact with the musicians, some of which have been guests with our podcast as well.
Yep.
We're a little bit more brazen. We're a little bit more like, we're going to make you do shit that you might not want to do outside of the music world, which we're going to get you guys into in a little bit. But no worries. Don't.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, Jordan says it's not too bad.
I feel like there's like a cockroach eating challenge or something coming up.
Oh no,
You never know.
that was last week.
That was last week. Well, that's awesome, man. You guys actually have a massive undertaking that is coming up on April 2nd, and it is the very first 561 Music Festival. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that event and what we can expect as event goers.
Well, I mean, we started out as we were doing the podcast, we were getting different musicians and bands on the podcast. Somewhere along the way, we were thinking it'd be kind of cool to do little pop-up events. And we did some at Connolly's and Average Joe's and a couple of different places that we were just doing these little pop-up events with 3, 4, 5 bands, and that was it. It went well. And somewhere along the way, we just said, we need our own music festival. I mean, we're a music podcast, damn it. We need a music festival. And so spoke to a couple of different places. looked at a couple of different places and spoke to, ended up working out something with David over at Matthews Brewing in Lake Worth. So shout out to him. And he's been real accommodating. And I just, we kept talking about it. And finally we reached out to a bunch of past guests. And that's really the criteria that we had, was you had to have been a past guest. And I guess part of what got us to the festival at this point and not any sooner is because we needed past guests. So,
Right.
And we are coming up on our 1-year anniversary here in March. So
it's awesome.
it's been a wild ride. So the festival is, can I do a quick,
oh my God.
lineup?
A little shameless plug.
Yeah.
It's
April 2nd. It's going to be from noon until midnight. And we have Spread the Dub, Sierra Lane, Sons of a Tradesman, No Name Ska Band, Bryce Allen Band, Victoria Lee, Joey Caldereo, BFD, The Shake. Yeah, BFD over here. The Shake, Jake Walden Band, Sandman Sleeps, Fall Victim, Jacob Tacos.
Wait. I love Sandman Sleep. I'm so stoked.
Oh, he's in love with that.
Oh, it's great. Where we actually have them as a guest a couple weeks before your event. So
all of them are amazing.
I
And
know.
Christina's voice is unreal.
Is it crazy? I know. I love them.
am in love with her voice. Seriously. And I have to say her voice because I'm married.
I'm not even a guitarist, and I love that girl's guitar work. It's
Yeah,
fucking
they're
sick.
on another planet. The whole group, man. It's such a great combo.
Yeah, they just put a single out that just came out a few days ago.
Yep.
Amazing.
Portrait of Jenny, I believe is the name
Yes.
of it. Yeah.
Great single.
Yeah, so we got Fall Victim, Jacob Tacos, Micah Scott, which you mentioned.
Yeah.
Josh Miles, Dominic Delaney, Ben Childs,
Aha.
Alyssa Marie Kuhn, Fox Maple, and Paper Carcass. And the way this is going to be set up is we're going to have the main stage. If you've ever been to Matthews, they have this huge stage there, sound, lights, everything. It's all
awesome.
pro. It's beautiful. So we have the main stage. It's basically 20 acts. And then across from that main stage, there's a small little platform stage. We're going to set up a PA there. And we're going to have actually James running the sound for us.
The James stage.
The James stage. And so basically, the main stage is going to have full bands, and the smaller stage is going to be solos and duos acoustically. And so we're going to set one up. Set somebody up while somebody else is playing. And so ideally, in a perfect world, it's going to go back and forth, and we're not going to have any dead air. It'll be fun. I mean,
I love it, man.
Yeah.
We have quite a bit going on that day, but it's on our way. So like we're gonna stop by. We're gonna make an early appearance.
Okay.
And check out the early afternoon. Then we have to go to a 1-year birthday party.
Well, we will have
and then we're going to John Mayer. So there's that.
we will have
What?
festival T-shirts for you. So.
Oh,
John Mayer.
At least the 1-year-old will remember that you came.
I know, it's the priorities here.
I won't be going to either of those other two events, so I'll be there with you.
Well, Derek will be there representing JNC the whole time.
So one more shameless plug, Derek. If you need to get your tickets, it's www.561musicfestival.com.
I'm ready
very
to
clever.
down.
Yep. Tickets are $10. $10 in advance, $25 if you want the general admission plus, which includes a festival T-shirt that you don't have to buy at the show. You can just give us your size, and we'll have one waiting for you. And there's still some sponsorship slots left. So if anybody wants to sponsor, we need your money.
Yeah, no kidding.
Apparently, festivals cost money. Who knew?
Who would have thunk it?
This is a lot of fun. I got to say, I didn't know what I kind of knew what to expect just from sort of meeting you, and you had your shit together so much with your amazing solo set.
The first time I've ever heard that in my life. By the way.
But your solo set was just your solo setup is just unbelievable. So I knew that it was going to be legit and like really kind of tech savvy here. But this is great. Thanks so much for having
man,
us.
I'm glad that you guys are here. I'm glad that you all were able to come up and be a part of this because you are, believe it or not, you're the very first group of guests or guests in general, like actual guests.
The new space.
Yeah, in the new space. So like I got to spend all day like getting it together and being like, what? And now that you're here, I'm like, wow, it's not as big as the last lounge, but it works. I'm glad that you guys are here.
I'm personally
it's
stoked.
bigger than like 75% of the stages we play on.
I've been looking forward to this since I saw him in Jensen Beach.
Right, that's right. Derek was the one that told me. He was like, hey, he'd seen you guys perform at Taco Tiki, in Jensen Beach,
Yeah.
and was like, "You need to check these guys out." And I had already known about you guys, but I trust Derek and his taste, and I listened to some of the music. And I was like, "Oh yeah, there's no reason why these guys." And then of course, we realized that we were moving, so I stopped booking guests completely because I never knew when we were going to take off. But
Well, it worked out quite nicely because you had to take a couple of weeks off to move, so you could come to ours. You know,
yes,
it worked out great.
It was perfect, and I'm so glad that you guys, because you guys are normally right now recording somebody else's podcast, and I love that I always see like Hector or Ben Childs pop in when we're doing our live just to check in, but I know you guys are just about to start recording your own show, so it's very, very cool. And thank you for moving your schedule around to be here. It means a lot, and this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. The sole reason we came is to steal all of your ideas.
It's perfect. Please do. I can't take them with me when I go.
I've got more malic acid if you guys need it for your show.
Oh God, yeah. You guys want to do a sour challenge? You let me know. All right. Well, last question I have for you guys before we get you up to do another song is, you've wet our whistle with Promise Dream. Is there a new record in the works?
Okay, so yeah, there is. Basically, there is another record that's not online that we haven't put up yet because there was this really weird situation. There's this other band called Angry Johnny and the Killbillies, right?
I've seen their name around.
They're really good. They're great band. So we decided to call our live record that we made at LMC last winter. We were looking for a name. We were like, oh, what should we call it? So we ended up calling it Live Warts and All. Just thought it was kind of a cool title. And then we got Adam Sheets, big up Adam Sheets, an amazing artist, local guy who does tons of music art down here and also his own stuff. But we got him to do the cover, and it had this kind of like sort of grimy Warts and All sort of vibe, and that was the idea it was going to be, because the record was a live record, so there's a couple of little flubs here and there, but it's as a record it worked pretty well. So we just put the thing out, and I was going to put it online, and I just googled the name. Angry Johnny and the Killbillies has an album called Warts and All.
Get out.
It's insane. What?
You guys, I don't know. The universe is, I feel like, just stirring you around the pot for some reason. I feel like you guys are intertwined into everything. You are universal. It's unbelievable. How is it possible?
Exactly. What is that about?
It's got the same album name.
I know. I thought he was joking with me about it when he said it, because I was like, dude, man, no, bullshit. Like, there's no way. They're like literally warts and all. No. He was like literally, and I showed it to me. I'm like,
that's crazy.
The craziest thing about it is it's like even in the same font almost. It's like exactly the same. So we just.
I'm gonna have to pull it up. I'm gonna pull that up. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post them side by side.
Well, it'd be good to give Angry John and the Killbillies a little sales boost too. I've got no beef with them. Killbillies solidarity.
I think you should tour together. I think that would be an easy bill.
And there's a few
one name,
exactly.
2 bands.
There's a few other smaller Killbillies out there as well. I was thinking we could do like a full bill of Killbillies named bands. It'd be hilarious.
The Killbillies bill. I love it.
Yeah. So anyway, we changed. We've figured out a different name, and we're going to put it up. So that has got 3 of our new songs on it. But as outside of that, this July, we're going to go do a tour to and from Memphis. When we get to Memphis, we're going to record at Sun Studios. We're going to do 6 or 7 tunes, something like that. Maybe 1 or 2 of the ones that we already, the older tunes, but we do them kind of different now. So re-record them,
right.
and 4 or 5 new ones. And so that's going to be our new record. Really looking forward to that. We're going to track it there. I don't know if we're going to mix it or not. We haven't really got that far, but we thought it'd be fun to track it there, and take a bunch of
there's a lot of history in Memphis.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. Maybe bring someone to document it, or we'll do it ourselves. We recently played a festival, and we said that we were going to document the whole thing ourselves, and we didn't at all. So I think that it probably
you got to bring somebody responsible for that. Yeah.
In all fairness, I completely threw out my bag at that festival, and I could barely play. So filming was like not an option.
Oh,
it's true.
No.
Hector herniated 2 discs at this thing.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you how he did it, but he did it, and anyway, so he was
wait, because that just leaves it wide open. Now everybody's like,
He's a maniac.
Draw your own conclusion.
It was part of him learning how to slap.
Oh, yeah. When I was learning how to slap, I threw my back out too, pal. So I get it.
So yeah, the poor guy was in a huge amount of pain, and testament to his professionalism, still played the 2 shows we had left to play, and then and then drove us home with a completely thrown out. I mean, he was in so much pain, it was unbelievable. But he still did it. So yeah, that's why we didn't film it. But I think outside of that, it's probably a good idea to bring someone to do it, because then you don't have to worry about it. But yeah, so the idea is that we get a bunch of footage of this whole trip, and kind of, because as well as I do, that these days it's more important the other stuff than the music really. Like it's fun. Really, I feel like the music's just for us and like the few people who listen to it.
We had a whole podcast on that when I think the name of our podcast was "Is Music Enough?" And we kind of went into
the answer is no.
Exactly. There was like so much like merchandising and constant content and. Like celebrities on Instagram and YouTube and I'm sorry, I'm not hip with all the new things, the snaps chats, all these things, like it's all like part of the deal now. You can't just go and cut records and sell them and then play the shows to support them. It's so wild.
No, not at all. It's more like it's absolutely about branding it and making that whole, making the whole thing come together, and like not just branding, it's getting into social media, doing stuff outside of the music. People are interested. Butch, my other band, Butch and the Fat Dudes, we do stuff that like we'll play these great shows, have a ton of fun, and then we'll post something of us going to Six Flags. And like just the 3 of us going to Six Flags is getting thousands of views
crazy,
and
right?
shares. And I'm like, come on, dude.
People love it, man.
We just played this show in front of a ton of people. Nobody gave a crap.
Yeah, people.
But like, you sit there and you're like, literally, we're in the parking lot. We're not even in the freaking place.
Well, it's the
you
thing.
can just see the shit behind us. And they're like, yeah.
But it's that doing music is what you're supposed to do.
Right.
People want to see what you do
Right.
otherwise. It's that like personal connection. And it's a blessing and a curse, I believe. I think it's super cool. Because, I do a lot of stuff all day long. I'm happy to show you, like if you come to my show because of that, great, but, man, it's the truth, it's beyond, just cutting records and touring for them.
It is.
They're
They're interested in your life.
Cool. Yeah. And
They're
want it.
interested in like all the aspects of it.
Mhm.
The little stupid crap that you're like, you really give a crap about that?
Yep. Exactly. It's 100%.
Look at that Laura McCleary lady. The whole interesting thing about that is that you're just watching her and grow her young family, and she has comedy. I don't know. Yeah, she has comedy, but it's really like the big part of the draw is that she invites you into her life.
Yes.
And I feel like that's just what you got to do these days. You got to invite people into your life.
It's true. And like we were talking about earlier, like you're just trying to find that mainstream. Like we all want to do something interesting and new. But then you have to figure out how to relate that so people want it, because at the end of the day, like we're providers and then there's consumers of what we are doing, because, it's not even about being paid. It's just about, making a difference in any way,
Yeah. And I feel like there's a lot about the old model was, what's going to be the next thing to shock everybody. I don't know what you could do to shock people anymore. We've gone beyond that. So now it's like, another way of to get people's interest. If it's not going to be, oh, look at this band, they paint their faces and they sing about having sex. No one cares about any of that anymore.
I feel like if everyone should be doing that now, like that should be main.
I guess my point is that the shock value of like rock and roll and that stuff is just, there's you would have to kill someone on stage for people to care at this point. And so I think that really it's really just about the other side of it, which is like what are you having for breakfast? Like, what shoes do you wear? Like, look, Mark Maron just wandering around his garden, with his phone in front of his face. That's what people like these days.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Always connected 100% of the time.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, we're gonna get another song from you, so I'm gonna let you guys get ready to do that. I'm gonna take a second and shout out to some of our people tuning in here live with us on Facebook and YouTube. I'm gonna say hi to Johnny Ringo, owner, of course, of the Code Rum. We had a shot. We had a shot for you using the Code Rum Mango tonight. Justin from Live Music Community tuning in, saying, "What's up, 561 Music?" Our friend Paul from Drums and Rums. Thank you so much for tuning in. What do you say? Paul said Sun Studios is very cool. He said Ben says there's nothing more to shock him. He said he hasn't gone through the shock collar challenge yet, so we're not
be shocking.
We're not going to.
Are we doing that today?
No, we're not doing it today. But next time you guys come around, we're also going to send a shout out to.
Done this. We're fine.
We're going to send a shout out to Jack Hearn. We're going to send a shout out to Jen and Al Beltran. Wanted me to say hi to you, Ben. Al Beltran. And Danielle over on YouTube. Thank you guys all for tuning in live with us. We love that. All right, you guys, give it up once again for the Killbillies.
Washed up on the shore, the world's a little different this time around. Slowly move towards a happy place, don't rush this time around. 'Cause time, it takes care of all these things. Time takes care of us. There's nothing left to prove, no goals to make or people to impress. Just do the next right thing and leave it to fate to do the rest. 'Cause time, it takes care of all these things, the bruises and the cuts. Yeah, time, oh, it takes care of all these things. Time takes care of us. Sword, my son, there's no shame in you being wrong, as long as you learn from what you've done. Learn from what you've done, yeah. Need to fall on your sword, my son. Another day will surely come, and in time there you will feel better. You'll feel better. It's not the same as it was before. The world's a little different, so are we. Where once we were so sure, now we are living in humility. Time, it takes care of all these things. Time takes care of us. Now my eyes are cleared. I'm living in the world with no regrets. I won't live in fear. The sun is shining, good times are ahead. 'Cause time, it takes care of all these things. Time takes care of us. Yeah, time, oh, it takes care of all these things. Time takes care of us. Oh yeah. No need to fall on your sword, my son. There's no shame in you being wrong, as long as you learn from what you've done. Learn from what you've done, yeah. No need to fall on your sword, my son.
awesome. You guys are awesome.
So good.
Oh my God, it's Jordan. Is it not awesome to have live music back in the lounge?
It is. It's so nice.
It's so funny. You know what's crazy is I just ran outside and like it's not as loud outside as you'd think it was, but like there's clearly another band somewhere on like either across the water or somewhere that is also like playing music, and it's clearly a live band because you could tell the difference.
Competition.
Clearly, but it makes me like I kind of wish that everybody on this whole road was a musician, so like nobody would ever be upset about live music.
I tell you what, one of the things that annoys me perhaps most in the world is when there's an area where people play music and then it becomes popular and people move there and then they start complaining about the music. That is one number one pet peeve. Abacoa is a perfect example of that.
Jupiter in general.
Yeah.
All of Jupiter.
Yeah.
Clematis has a bunch of buildings that just went up in the last few years, like probably since 2020, and they've been filing complaints about places like O'Shea's and Respectables, and it's like, well, those places have been there.
Yeah, you just moved here.
Yeah, those places have been there for 30, 40 years. Like, what are you talking about?
Why did you move to a downtown? I don't understand. What did you think would happen here?
Yeah, exactly. Back in the day, Sonic Boom 6, we wrote a song about it. It was called Polished Chrome and Open Kitchens, and it was about that. It was exactly about that. Yeah.
Ben, I would just like to say you have a beautiful voice. It might be the accent too, but you have just a lovely singing voice.
I could hear that all day. Thank you very much.
It is a great singing voice. Like I mean, the whole jive that you guys have is just, it's really, really nice, man. I'm very, very excited for you guys.
The vocal ranges out of all of them too. Hearing them talk and then listening to the sounds that come out of their
I know. Singing. I would have to say James particularly, like, are you coming at me with this kind of voice? And then you're like, can you like just throwing it down?
Legit, I able to do everything. My head a couple of times.
Nice.
All right. Well, you guys, I was supposed to spin a wheel to see who was going to do this, but I didn't put the wheel together because that's how prepared I usually am for
I'm going to do it, I guess, probably.
Yeah, we'll take volunteers here. He's tribute. Okay.
Yeah.
So I did. We could maybe do draw straws.
Well, James is our champion. In all situations like this, James is our champion.
We can pick a number.
Yeah. He is your middle child too.
Yeah. Okay, Derek. I'm gonna let you do this one to pick who's gonna be in the Lipton Tea.
I've got the number picked beside me.
All right. So you tell them what to do to choose how to run this contest.
Okay. So pick a number 1 through 5 and closest.
How does that work? There's
You'll
3 of them.
You'll see.
Okay, fair enough.
So many of them.
Yeah.
It's just 3.
1.
5.
1, 3, and 5. Nobody picked an even number. Good thing I went with 5.
Hector!
I knew it was coming.
I'm like the biggest introvert, so I was like, if somebody's gonna get picked, it's gonna be me.
It's gonna be you. Well, we're gonna pull you out of your shell, pal.
That's like my one, like every time we go somewhere with my family or whatever, we're somewhere and there, there's like an audience participation, and I'm always that guy that's like slinking down in his seat, like, please don't pick me, please don't pick me, please don't pick me, please don't pick me. Yep.
Well,
this is gonna be perfect.
Well,
for
you're
you
picked
then.
now.
Well, crap.
All right, you guys. Hector is going on the hot seat in this rapid fire interview, inspired by the late great Mr. James Lipton, legendary host of Inside the Actor Studio. This is Inside the Lipton Tea.
Perfect.
Hello and welcome to Inside the Lipton Tea. I'm Brad Brock, playing the part of James Lipton. And I'm here with the Killbillies. We're going to put Hector on the hot seat in this rapid fire interview. Hector, are you ready?
Not really, but I guess I don't have a choice.
Hector, what is your favorite word?
I'm so happy I'm not in your chair right now.
Favorite word? Good Lord.
First one that comes into your head.
Killbillies.
Ooh. What is your least favorite word?
James.
Hector, what turns you on?
Oh, man. James.
What turns you off?
That's a rough question. I don't know. Strange questions from weird talk show hosts. I don't know.
James
That'll
said
do it.
long banjo.
Them's fighting words.
Hector, what sound or noise do you love?
Oh, I would say my bass, but because of all the years of playing, I'm pretty much deaf at this point, so I can't
What
hear
was
it.
that? Come again?
Yeah, exactly. I will say, you know what? The sound of a piano is actually quite beautiful.
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Oh, this goes back a few years, but my children used to make this kind of screaming sound. Yes, my son's in the next room by that. But they used to play.
I have a little window I could see through to the world inside.
They played. They're going to be embarrassed I even tell a story, but they played this game that they called Opera Poopy, and they would sing opera and then get louder and higher pitched than the last one, and they'd go back and forth and see who can outdo each other, and that was the most god awful sound on the planet.
Singularly, the best answer I think we've ever had in this game.
As soon as Hector said,
Yes.
there's this game my kids used to play, his son in the background just started shaking his head.
He knew.
Yes.
He knew.
Already knew.
He knew exactly where I was going with that. Yes. So if you guys ever want to hear the worst sound in the world, ask someone to give you some opera poopy.
Opera poopy. That's going on my word
I
list.
love the name.
It's so good.
That should be our new segment. Opera Poopy.
Don't get it twisted. It might happen next week. We might have opera poopy.
I'm actually looking forward to
Write
it.
that down. Write that down. Don't let us
Poopy.
lose that. Oh man. Hector, what is your favorite curse word?
Oh, for sure. It's fuck.
Yes, yes.
Hands down.
Gotta be.
An oldie but a goodie.
It's an oldie but a goodie.
For sure.
What profession other than your own would you like to try?
I've actually always wanted to be in the medical field.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Anything specific in the medical field or
I tried being a paramedic for a little bit. Wasn't for me because in Palm Beach County to be a medic on the firefighter staff, you have to be a firefighter.
right?
And
Yeah.
I wanted to save lives and not run into burning buildings.
Oh yeah.
You know.
I'd like to save lives,
Unemployed.
not necessarily risk mine to
Yeah,
do so.
yeah. So that I would say, and in fact, anybody who knows me, that's probably my one singular career regret is not having realized that I like the medical field sooner and having gone into something more like a doctor or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
You could be the base doctor.
Yeah. But I am CPR certified, so if the Killbillies go down at a gig, I'm there.
Hey,
He's got
you never know what could happen even tonight. It's good to know you're here. Because none of us are certified in anything at all.
Certifiable.
Jordan's got a degree. I don't even know. Basket weaving. What was it?
Yeah. Child development, same thing. Yeah.
Yes. Weaving the minds of small children. I love that. See how I
Basket
sewed that
weaving
together?
probably
I
would've
weaved
gotten
that
me
together.
further, Yeah.
Hector, what job would you not do under any circumstance?
Yeah. Under any circumstance, huh? Maybe garbage man, I guess.
God, that's a common one. Yeah.
Yeah. I think people just try to think like the dirtiest job they can think. Oh wait, I take it back.
Mhm.
A fluffer on gay porn.
Yeah, see, there you
Right?
go. Yeah.
I can't do it. Sorry.
I can't even do it to myself.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
It's a tragedy in many ways. these hands are too calloused. I can't be getting into anything.
Notice how he didn't say it like he wouldn't be a fluffer. He just designated that it was only if only all guys were there. It didn't have to stop. If like he'd still fluff a dude if a woman was involved. He just wouldn't do it if there was two guys.
Yep.
Well, it's not gay if there's a woman involved, right?
Nope, it's just business.
It's not gay.
You gotta
if there's
look
a
him dead
woman
in the
there.
eye and say, "This isn't personal. It's business."
Right. Can I go back to my favorite job idea?
I only have one more question.
Oh dear God, help me.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Well, I know what he's going to say. He's going to say, "Oh, crap." But what would I like to hear him say? Oh, let's see. I'm a diabetic, so if he said there was cake, I'm in.
Yeah. Nice. Dude, good job, man. That was awesome.
That wasn't too bad, was it? Yeah.
Oh. Inside the
entertaining for
Lipton Tea. Oh, man. Oh. Wow. All right.
I had the fluffer answer before. That was pretty good.
That was that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Yep.
That's some imagery that I'm going to take with me.
Will haunt my dreams for eternity. Well, you guys strap into your thinking caps because it's time for Name That Tune.
He asked us what our favorite bands were, so it's going to be maybe stuff that we know, but I bet we aren't going to know them. It's going to
Nope,
be really
definitely
embarrassing.
not. I steered it completely
I'm so
clear from
screwed.
those.
You're gonna want your whiteboard.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right
So
there.
I put some whiteboards over there and some pens and erasers. So what's going to happen, you guys? We invite all of our live viewers to play along with us in the chats and comments. We're looking for the name of the song and the artist or band that performed it.
Wait, both?
Both.
Ugh.
I
Yeah,
know.
he screws us up.
That's
I know.
really hard.
Tonight's category is famous folk trios.
Are you kidding me?
This isn't fair.
They better all be Killbillies.
These are all wildly famous songs. You may not know the artists too, but they do exist. No cheating back there. I know you can see my notes.
I only know one famous folk trio, so I'm just going to write that as the name of the band for every
That's
single
happened
one.
before. That's a common occurrence.
Does it have to be trios?
It's usually Jordan that writes it. It has to be trios. These are famous trios. Now, not to say that they might not have some people filling in or whatever, but the core group is trios. Anyway, are you guys ready?
Sure.
Are you ready out there? All right, we're gonna play it. Here's the first clue in Name That Tune.
Chewing on a piece of grass, walking.
What the hell is wrong with you?
I'm so glad that's their reaction.
I'm gonna play it one more time.
It sounded like that other song.
Oh yeah, the other song, Jordan. That other one.
Sounded like 90% of the whole music I listen to.
Here it is one more time. Only one more.
Chewing on a piece of grass, walking.
I know. Now I do kind of know what it is. That last little second of it gave me a clue. Play it 5 more times.
Yeah, yeah, at least 5.
Loop it.
I'm just gonna sing it next time. Sucking on a piece of grass. Sucking on a piece of grass. Is that a thing? People do that?
Yes.
All right. Stephen D. Hunt, one-man band extraordinaire, tuning in on Facebook, actually got the answer there. Oh, Nikki. Thank you for tuning in, Nikki. It has been a long time. All right.
You both are on the right track.
How
I
about
feel
you
like
guys in
posting
there?
me.
Anything good? I see the name of the band is good. What do you guys have over there in the Killbillies? Oh my God! Like I can read. I got
Peter,
nothing.
Paul, and
Earth, Wind,
Mary.
Fire. Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Ah.
Maybe don't erase that. The folk song by that trio, Ventura
You
Highway.
can't tell me I'm wrong.
Ventura Highway is the right answer. Whoa! Yeah,
cheat
look at
off
that.
of?
And America is the right artist. So look at you guys.
Okay, but who's that new one that stole this?
Janet Jackson.
The new one is Janet Jackson.
Janet Jackson took that sample and made it into a song.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
I learned something today.
You're welcome.
So good. That's what we do here at Jams and Cocktails. We inebriate and educate. That's what we do. It's coming
You'll never
coming to a shirt near you. All right, you guys. Next clue coming at you. Here we go.
Sometimes it hurts so badly I must.
I'm gonna play it for you one more time.
Sometimes it hurts so badly I must.
Jay coming in on the delay with America for the last one. Good job, Jay. Nice to see you, buddy. All right, you guys in there. You guys in the sound room. You got it. No name of the song though. Stephen D. On it. All right, you guys ready? Yeah. All right, let's see it. What do you got here? I'm with this guy. Don't erase that yet.
Oh, it's not them. I took a context.
I was banking on that being the next one.
I took a context clue.
It's
I
not,
copied Hector. I
not Earth, Wind, and Fire.
We're terrible at
don't know.
this.
Is that what?
Earth, Wind & Fire are a funk band.
Funk, folk. It's only a few letters off.
I knew that.
And it's a full band, not a trio.
Oh, is that not what? Okay.
No, it's three elements, of course. You know.
Can't read.
Stephen D and Jay over there with Crosby, Stills, and Nash. It is Sweet Judy Blue Eyes.
Sometimes it hurts so
Kevin McLaughlin got Crosby, Stills, and
I
Nash.
saw him in there with that. Yeah, good job, you guys.
My father's gonna slap me later.
That's all right. That's all right. Sometimes we need a little slapping. Just ask Hector.
I'm surprised there's this many trios.
I think you're lying about that.
Oh, it gets more. This one goes way back. I'm not expecting anybody here or in the multiverse to get that. Multiverse, is that what it is? The metaverse. That's what I meant to say. Multiverse is Spider-Man. Okay, here we go. Next clue.
Baby, do I feel high? Oh me, oh my.
They're legendary.
So I have to ask, Brad, if you hadn't looked these up, would you know them?
I played all of these songs regularly on Cruise Ship Life. These were all requests that I botched every single time because I didn't have internet on the cruise ship to get the actual song to listen to, so I had to pull it from memory, and that is horrendous. Don't try it at home. Here it is one more time.
I remembered another folk
I
trio.
feel high, oh me, oh my.
I remembered another folk trio, so I just wrote that down. I don't know what it
I'm
is.
gonna give you a little hint. Trio is actually in the name of this group.
I got it.
Oh, you got it. You got it.
Oh.
All right.
Oh.
Jay got it. I'm so blown away, Jay. Well done. Well done. What do you guys have here in the lounge? It is the Kingston Trio.
Oh,
Not the Killbillies, not Faith No More. What did you guys have here? The trio. Oh, no. Kingston Trio inside in the sound booth. Yes, it is Kingston Trio Scotch and Soda.
Baby, do I feel
It's a great
high, oh
tune, and they're
me,
actually a
oh my.
great group. When somebody requested that from me, and I learned that song, I kind of dove into their catalog a little bit, and I was like, man, these guys, they were sexy. They were sexy. All right. Next clue. Are we ready? This one's my favorite. Hope you guys didn't erase too much.
Lived by the sea and frolicked in the.
Here it is one more time.
Lived by the sea and frolicked in the.
I'm 100% fully expecting everyone in this whole room and beyond to get this.
I'm so happy that I'm feeling confident.
Yeah. That's
I'm so confident in this one.
I think I botched it a little.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Jordan.
You're right, Ben.
All right, Stephen D. Hunt got the right answer on Facebook. Jay on the Brad Brock, my personal Facebook page, got the he said puff puff pass, and I'm gonna take it. That's a winner to me. What do you guys have here? It is Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Aww.
Puff the Magic Dragon. What did you have, Jordan?
I said Paul, Ted, and Mary.
Oh yeah, Paul, Ted.
Some people.
It's on the way.
Yeah.
Kevin
And
and Gavin
familiarity.
got it inside too. Good job, you guys. Except for you, Jordan.
It was close.
Paul Ted. She only got one
the hell
name
is-
wrong.
Ted.
I love Ted though.
It seemed to
Ted.
fit.
Where did Ted come from, though?
I mean,
Yeah, it
sorta.
clicked in the noggin.
I mean, Peter, who? It's all about the Ted.
Steve, Ted, and Jimbo.
yeah.
That was my first guess.
Ben, James, and Hector.
Yeah. Oh,
Ben Folks 5
Who's that
minus
guy on
2.
the end?
I know. The problem was I was gonna call him Shrek.
Ironically, Ben Folds 5 is a trio.
I know.
Yes,
It's
true.
true.
It's very true.
It's true. Oh, I should have. I know. I should have put that on there.
Knowing Brad, that's
Trick
his
you
next
guys
one.
up. No, it's not. It's not. But we are bringing it into the 21st century with this one. So
Oh, I have a chance.
here we are. Last clue. Enjoy.
I got a new girlfriend.
Sorry, everybody's got like ghost face. Here it is one more time.
I had the same look as you, bro.
I got a new girlfriend.
That's my look every week on this show.
So our buddy Little David is chiming in with just he asked me to do good songs. Sorry, David. He said,
But then he follows up with "Who let the
who let the
dogs
dogs out? It's not that.
I like the AC/DC comment. Though.
Yeah, it's good. All right, you guys. Let's see what the Killbillies have. It is something emo. It is the Lumineers.
Yes,
That's right.
yes.
Anything in there?
Wow.
Nothing in there? What did
Nice
you guys
job.
have?
Blank canvas, baby.
Oh, great.
Just
My
like
God,
my
you guys
mind, empty.
Didn't get any of that?
Yeah.
Nobody did. Not even on social media.
I saw Ben had it, and I was like, "Oh, he's right."
It is the
And that would be
Lumineers.
cheating.
And the
It
song
was. I can
is
see it. It's like, oh, damn it.
the song is Ophelia.
Ah, yes,
And if I would have put the
that, yeah.
hook in, everybody would have got it. Oh, Ophelia.
Yeah.
Da, da, da.
I knew that. I kind of equate
Yeah.
them with Mumford and Sons, but I knew it wasn't Mumford
Yeah,
and Sons.
I feel
but
like
put
it's the
them in,
same
like,
vibe. Yeah, the same.
Yeah.
You know what? What happened to that genre?
I don't know.
It
but
was
I loved
so
it.
massively.
Killbillies became it.
Oh.
True.
Well, when it was
They're bringing
around,
it
it was
back,
very
actually.
good for us because, if we played any Mumford tunes or whatever, the entire bar would go bananas. When the band started, that we were surrounded with that was all going on. But there was some good music came out of it. But there was also the kind of hipsters riding unicycles and stuff like that side of it,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
wasn't that great.
Yeah, yeah.
But like
Big beards, craft beer.
yeah,
all
I mean,
those things, yeah.
there's a lot to take the piss out of in that scene, but I feel like it was quite good for folk music in general, though.
Yeah.
Because like people who were doing it on a smaller level, all of a sudden, kind of had a little bit of a platform. It was good for us,
Yeah.
So it's not there anymore, which is kind of a shame for us. I feel like I don't know. I feel like it really dipped. Our people being into that kind of thing really dipped about 5 years ago. But I feel like it feels like people are enjoying folk music a bit more. I feel like people got folked out a little bit, But it feels like it's coming back a bit,
God, I wish, man. I wish and I hope.
Absolutely.
Because
I feel like it is.
because
Sure,
yeah,
like revival music in
Mumford,
general.
I
all
was
these older styles.
sold on it. I was sold on Mumford. I was sold on the Lumineers. I loved the whole vibe.
I was more a fan of his sons, though.
Dry.
There it is. There it is. I found the button.
Yeah,
But
they
no,
were great.
yeah, like it was so good. And then when they came out on like Guitar Hero or what, I was like, okay, I'm into this. But yeah. And then it just kind of, radio has been consumed with EDM.
Well,
which by the way, I love EDM, so I'm
Yeah.
totally here for that also.
That guy
But,
who won American Idol and then would just brought out a tune that sounded like Mumford and Sons. That was the first nail in the coffin. After that, it was just only a matter of time before it died. They completely
Oh,
sold
what was
the thing
his
out.
name?
It was called,
Phillips?
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say Jim Jimison or something.
Jim Jimison.
It's like, I mean, the thing is, his song isn't really that bad, but it's just so derivative. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, 100%. Oh my God, you guys, not bad though. Not bad for Name That Tune. Impressive.
I got 0%. How is that impressive?
But I mean, altogether, you guys got like
30%, maybe.
Well,
You got Puff the Magic Dragon, right?
That's the only one.
You did get Puff the Magic Dragon. That's good. As far as I'm concerned, that's pretty
I did.
good.
I even put a little joint on there.
That's
Nice.
1/6 of it.
Extra credit for drawing.
Yeah, I got to. It's the only thing I can offer.
Yeah.
I love
All
it.
around artist.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
No,
Hector can
but
actually
hey,
do that thing.
I do
So
wanna-
no.
I want to bring it up before we get into our shameless plugs because then I want you to plug it. But aside from being an accomplished bass player and guitarist and banjo player now and kick drum artist, which by the way, I just want to touch on that. Like when I do my show, like I play obviously the kick and the snare at the same time, but I could never trust another human being to pick up my offbeat,
It takes a lot. And honestly, I think it's what kind of keeps us a lot more locked in all together because me and him have to hold it together in the exact same spot. And if we don't, it falls apart quick. It just starts like slinking weird. And like, it's, you try and do like a little like bump and that could just jack everything up.
It's really impressive. And
Do you mind if I just really quickly say something about that?
I don't mind.
You know that phenomenon where if you get a bunch of people clapping, it slowly speeds up?
Yes.
You know? That happens with this.
Yeah.
So it is so difficult to not speed up. And actually, James is the first person I've ever met who doesn't immediately speed up when we start playing the song.
Pentameter.
It's just so hard. I mean, we do sometimes as a band speed up, but like not to the point where it's really problematic. But in the past, that's been like a real issue. Just trying to maintain any kind of BPM, but just because of the fact that if I try and physically slow it down by playing later, when he next hits his kick, it sounds like we've sped up.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, it actually does the opposite from what you expect.
Yeah.
So we end up if we do start speeding up, it's kind of like with a car where you have to counterintuitively steer into it.
Right.
If we do start speeding up, you just have to go with it. If you try and slow down, you speed up faster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Usually only I can bring it down and I start like all of a sudden you hear like the kick just becomes very prominent. It's like, pay attention, we're going too fast. Dob, 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 dob.
I have to ask, is this something that you were inspired by? Or it's something, because clearly, Ben, you were doing this before, obviously, James came into the band.
Yeah.
So is this something that...
I can't take credit for it. Basically, the way it was... Micah was already experimenting with feet drums because he had been watching the incredible Ben Prestige and loved what he was doing, and I've had said to Ben's face, we played with him not long ago, like 2 weeks ago. I was like, it was you who inspired us to do it. Absolutely was him. And I think that quite a lot of people back then were inspired by him, and there were a few bands around town doing it, and and then when it sort of, when the folk thing sort of died out and people who were just kind of doing it because it was fashionable dropped off, there's only a few other people left doing it, and we're just left doing it, So,
it's awesome. It's awesome because what really blows my mind is that it's two people, playing the parts, you have control over it really takes a very intuitive mind or just, I don't know, a cohesive group to be able to do that and play a whole show doing it. It's not like doing one number. Like you're doing a whole show doing this way. I find it fascinating. I think it's great.
And to true Killbillies fashion, of course, literally the day before or maybe one practice before, Ben was like, "You think you could play drums?" And I was like, "I don't know. I tap my foot a lot. So maybe," and we just went with it like the next show, and it was just like, okay, let's just do this, and Killbillies fashion.
Yeah, and here we are doing it now. Yeah.
Just quickly before we move on to the next segment, I want to talk about the actual drums here. That kick drum, fascinating because it's this big. It's this big, you guys. Literally, it looks like it's 6 inches.
Yeah, it's like it's 6 to 8
depth.
inch drum.
But it's got such a powerful punch. It's really great. Is there a company that develops these types of drums for this purpose, or is this something you crafted yourself?
Again, back in the day, there wasn't, or if there was, I didn't know about it. And we used to always build our own. Do you know Vince Flora, the guy who...
Double Roads
yeah,
Tavern.
Double
Oh,
Roads.
yeah. Vince,
so,
great dude.
So he, at one point, helped me build a snare. He took one of those really weighty kick drum mic stands, with the big black block.
Yeah.
And he just drilled a hole in my snare and we shoved the thing into it. And so it was just sticking on a stalk. And that worked for really good for a long time. And I did a few other things, like I know Zach Jones put it in a basket. I used to do it like that for a while, and I know Ben Presley sometimes put it in a basket, and his brother too. And so we'd do that, do all sorts of different stuff like that, experimenting with it. The problem is if you're doing it over 3 hours and you're kind of making a living out of it, it gets really boring just watching your drums disappear off into the distance in front of you. So
absolutely right.
So eventually the company started catching on to the fact that we were all out here doing it and started making stuff for it. And Sidekick Drums is the name of this company. And I just found them. Every couple of weeks I would be just doing a Google search to see if anything appeared yet. And all of a sudden there was this company, and the way that the snare is set up is really good because the whole thing is sitting on this metal kind of chassis that holds the drum, and it's just one piece. So when I hit the snare, it doesn't try and go
run away
from
right?
me. Yeah. And the kick drum is more or less just a regular kick drum, apart from it being so thin. But you can use most normal kick drums for it. We have to be a bit careful on slippery stages, and we just make sure we're in a carpet or something like that.
Right.
But that's the same with every drummer has that problem. But the snare is great. The snare's the best snare setup that I've ever had.
I have the Sidekick snare drum riser.
Yeah.
I have it in my garage, and I don't use it because I do all electric or electronic drums with my setup now. But it is single-handedly one of the coolest inventions for beat drum ever. It's I'll have to throw a photo up there for you guys.
Yeah, and you use the same beaters that I do from them, don't you? Where it's
with the drumstick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
100%. It's so great. Sidekick Drums. If any of you are out there fledgling foot drummers, check them out. They have everything that you need.
There's also this company called Farmer. I think his last name is Farmer.
Yeah, and, Farmer drums.
Yeah, and they make these things that is this box full of drums, and it has all these pedals. They're pretty cool. It's a bit unwieldy. I've messed around with them. I've done gigs with them before. I think if I had a bit more time to just sit there and really learn how to use it, it'd be amazing. But the combination of the bass, the kick, and the snare, it's enough. When Hector wasn't slapping, it wasn't there was a bit of space, there was a bit too much space. But with the slapping in there, that's enough percussion. You get that train beat sound. You get the boom chicka boom chicka boom chicka,
right?
Which is all we 100%. Need, really. Yeah.
Oh God, it's so good. It's so good. I have to go to the comments real quick because some of them are important.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was going to
yes,
on
please.
one, but it's better coming from you.
Stephen D. Hunt says, "Hi, y'all, Killbillies. You fellas sounded great." And most importantly, Zach Jones says to tell Ben I want to lick him.
Aww.
Aww.
Thanks, Zach.
Quite endearing.
Yes,
We love you,
sweet.
Zach. Zach and the Sandman Sleeps Band will be on the show next month. Very, very excited to catch back up with them and talk to them just before the release of their album and before their appearance on or at the 561 Music Festival. Very, very exciting stuff. Speaking of that, we're going to go into our next segment, which I like to call our Shameless Plugs. Yes. Very exciting. So we're going to go around the room. We're going to talk about all the things that we got going on. I actually want to start with James because outside of music, you do an entirely different thing. which I think is so important because, well, not to me because I don't have any hair left to style. But please plug that, and we want to send some people out there to get their due done right.
Excellent. We're Galliano Family Salon. It's in Hope Sound. I opened it over 2020, and we do pretty much everything. Color, cuts, all of it. You name it, we do it. Extensions, everything. And it's definitely been a funny year for it. It's definitely different because the changes and everything, and it's been like crazy busy and weird. But it's a fun career. I enjoy it.
Awesome.
It lets me for a while. It let me look like a total maniac and be in a punk band, and nobody cared. Because like I said before, I can't draw, so a tattoo artist was like totally out.
You got to find another way.
I had to find another way.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. Well, any other shameless plugs that you might have to throw out there?
Yeah, Butch and the Fat Tubes, BFD, my other punk band, and that's one of them. Then Euphoria as well, and Galliano Family Salon. That's really like my life is literally my 3 bands and hair
in the shop. I love that. Awesome, man. And I just have to say, it's great to finally meet you. Like I said, we've been friends on Facebook for so long,
right?
And like I follow all these things, and it's great to have you here, man. Great to meet you. Awesome. All right, right on down the line, Mr. Ben Childs.
All right, I got the phone out because my memory isn't what it was. I don't think it ever was.
Join the club. I have an entire script. I don't. If this went blank, I'd be like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Who am I again? Why am I in this house? Yeah. So we're playing at Killbillies is playing at Das, which is in Abercoa. It used to be called Das Beer Garden. It's a cool spot. They've actually just built a new stage. It's really nice in there now. We're playing there from 7 to 10 on this Friday. And then on Saturday, we're playing at the Square Grouper of just me and James from 3 to 6. And then we're playing at Meg O'Malley's in Melbourne. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's really
which Square Grouper? The one in
Jupiter.
In Jupiter.
Yeah, in Jupiter. Thanks. Yeah. From 3 to 6 a duo, and then 9 to midnight we're playing at Meg O'Malley's in Melbourne, which is just like the gig from heaven for us. We just fit so well there.
I've heard of this place. I've never been there in Melbourne, and that's on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday night, and it just works really well for us. We played there, and we were like, where's this gig been in all our lives? It's just perfect for us.
Awesome.
And then on Sunday, from about 3:30 until pretty late, we're playing at a place called Swank Farms, which is in Loxahatchee, and they make organic produce. Swank Farms. If you've never heard of it, check it out online. Make really good food, which they sell mostly to restaurants, but I think they're also to some green markets and things like that. And now they have their hemp license, so they're doing that too. And it's a cool place, and we play there about twice a year. It's a really fun gig. But they basically do these big dinners, and they have this amazing huge barn that they built, and there's this really awesome enormous high stage with cool black backdrop behind us, and we play on this stage, and we basically just play the whole time. We go and set up in front while everyone's walking in and play sort of bluegrass in front of one mic, and then we go and we set up for the full band, which is still just us three, the trio. We set up for that while they're eating, and then we just play while everyone's eating, and then at the end, when everyone gets a little bit sozzled, we kind of pick it up a bit, and they all sort of dance in the eyes. It's good fun, actually. It's cool.
That sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
One of the hardest thing about that gig is they have all these like guest chefs from like these really, really, really nice restaurants. And our stage is literally like 10, 15 feet above where they're plating it all.
Oh, wait a minute.
So you literally have to just stare at the food being made, and you're just like, oh, it all smells so. It just like wafting
good food smell rises.
Oh, it's so brutal. The whole time you're just like, look at all that food.
Oh, the worst.
And yeah, just to reiterate, we have this festival coming up that Hector and I have organized for the 561 Music Fest, and that's a Matthews brewing company in Lake Worth. If you've never been to Matthews, you go and check it out just anyway on any weekend. It's a really cool place to watch a gig. They've got a great PA, a really awesome stage, and they get some interesting acts in there too. The people who are playing the 561 Music Festival are Spread the Dub, Sierra Lane, Sons of a Tradesman, No Name Scar Band, Bryce Allen Band, Victoria Lee, Joey Caldereo, BFD, my man James here, The Shake, Jake Walden Band, Sandman Sleeps, big up Zach.
Yeah.
I'll lick you right back, buddy. Full Victim, Jacob Tacos, Micah Scott, Josh Miles, Dominic Delaney, me, Alyssa Kuhn, Fox Maple, and Paper Carcass. That's April 2nd. It's midday and it ends at midnight.
Great. That's like 20 acts, man.
Yeah,
That's really impressive. I'm very excited.
There's tons of good music down here. We didn't get to put everyone on that we really like, but we got a lot of the people that we like on it, so we're happy about that. Yeah.
It's awesome. And there's next time.
Yeah, totally. And if anyone is curious about our podcast, it's called 561 Music, and it's just about music in the 561 area. It's it does what it says on the tin, basically. And Hector, you want to talk about your art, my friend?
But you're gonna.
Yeah, I have about 47 jobs that I do, and
Welcome to the club.
I'm a garbage collector. I'm a porn fluffer.
Only straight.
But only straight. No, I do. I do two other things outside of this. Outside of music, I do real estate photography. So drone, aerial, interior, exterior, HDR photography, architectural photography, that sort of thing. And then I also do, for lack of a better description, street painting. I'm a 3D street artist, so I do a lot of like those chalk 3D pieces you see floating around the internet.
You mean the things that I gawk over and I think, who does this?
Yeah.
Right, those kinds of things. So,
amazing.
I do a lot of stuff solo, and then I also do a lot of stuff with a friend of mine. We go under the name Chalk Guys. So I'm Artist Diaz, and when I do it, when we work together, we're Chalk Guys, and we work in paint, we work in chalk, we do murals, we do 3D street art,
cool,
all sorts of stuff. Yeah, it's fun.
Wow. That's
so
okay. Cool.
Not to derail you.
Yeah.
But so in my old studio, I had a brick wall behind me, and my dream was to have some graffiti art of our logo.
Sure.
Is that with spray paint? Do you work in spray paint?
Spray, latex, acrylic, chalk,
and you can make it look gangster.
Yeah. Sure.
Is that too white? Is it too
wait,
white?
wait. I'm just gonna point this out. He is Cuban. So you told him to do with a spray can and everything. This is entirely his realm.
Fair enough.
That's fair.
I'm coming for you, Hector
man.
Diaz, because that's something I really, really always wanted, and I put you on the.
Yeah. I do a lot of stuff.
Get you to send me an invoice.
In fact, I just did one. We just did one for the Miami F1 Formula Racing.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing sponsor announcements, so I can't say who it was for yet.
Right.
But we just did a ginormous, it was 27-foot Formula One race car on the ground in 3D. I'll show you after the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Yeah, but stuff like that where they wanted us to do it on the grounds, but we couldn't really paint their grounds per se.
Right.
We actually do it on canvas and then cut it out. So for your logo, I could do something like that and have it look 3D, but have it be on canvas so you're not actually destroying a wall or anything.
Oh no, I want you to destroy the wall.
Oh well, then hell yeah.
Well, they're actually they're brick panels, so I actually have them, and then they would be installed. But anyway, we'll talk after the show.
We will.
That's
Hector really likes to do his art just for exposure. You don't have to pay him.
Oh, no,
so don't worry about that.
Even better.
Even better.
100%.
Do you ever do? Isn't there the Lake Worth chalk
There is
street art thing?
Yeah, it's been around for I want to say 26 or 27 years, and I've done all but the first year.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's actually coming up I believe it's the last weekend of February.
Okay.
It's coming up, and so the first few years I worked together with a friend of mine, my friend from Shot Guys. Then we kind of did our own thing for many years, and then I would say probably about maybe 10 years ago, we decided to get together and do a big piece together, 2-dimensional, and then we saw a lot of other people doing 3D, and we were like, I want to do that, and so we got into that, and that was it. I mean, we started every year since then, probably the last 8 or 9 years, we've done just bigger and stupider, larger pieces, 3D pieces.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we
man.
did. At one point, we did like a 50 or a 55 foot Lego X-wing fighter or something. It was just
Wow.
yeah, it was dumb.
That's so great.
That's
That's stuff I didn't know about you guys, man. That's awesome.
There's one more thing I just want to say, seeing as we're in the plugs region of the show, which is that I work at a place called Live Music Community, which is a music school down in Palm Beach Gardens, North Lake and Military Trail, and we teach kids how to be in bands. And the way we do it is we do the individual lessons, and it doesn't, there's no age range, 7 to 170. Whoever wants to come. And,
right around my age group. Very good.
And anyone can come. But with the kids, we once they get good enough, we put them into groups, and the way we do it is a little bit different than some other places. We just have them, 4 or 5 kids, and they stay in that band and they grow as a band. We teach them actually how to be a real band. So, like all just the stuff down to what happens if your gear breaks in the middle of a gig, or just the practical side of it. If you get paid for a gig, what should you do with the money? Should you go out and spend it on a solid gold hat, or maybe save up for a new guitar? There's so many things that are like just good sort of life lessons that we kind of weave in there with it. And
I feel like that's the most important, because you can go to somebody that teaches you how to play the instrument.
Yeah.
But like to learn that side and that camaraderie and the business sense that comes along with being with a group of people that you're generating revenue together. And when things like gear breaks, stuff like that, man, that's awesome. That's very, very cool.
Yeah, I had just met Justin. Justin's the owner of Live Music Community.
Mm-hmm.
I had just met him when he, I think he maybe had just been open for a little bit in his old location. And that's when he became the Kurt Cobain in the tribute. My son was about, I want to say 9 or 10 years old. He just said 9. Yeah. 10. He came to Live Music Community with me one day. He had Justin had like an open jam. We put Gavin on the drums for a couple minutes. He played a couple little just beats and stuff. I think we had him play like a Nirvana song, believe it or not. And he got hooked.
Likely story.
Yeah, and so he got hooked, and I mean, just like what Ben was saying, where they put him in these groups and stuff. He did lessons for a while, then he joined a band for a while, and as he grew through the stages and stuff, he was in a couple of different bands there, but it was way better and way more than just learning how to play the drums. Like he learned how to be in a band, how to work with other other musicians, how to write music, how to record, how to, like he said, with the gear. I mean, like he had a whole disaster show on purpose where like Justin literally did a live stream where he turned the entire room upside down, and they had to come in and figure out where everything was, how to make it work. Like, oh, we needed 6 cables, but we only have 3. How do we make this function? How to make this work? I feel like didn't we just have this moment here before the show started?
That's what I'm saying. It's real life. We just saw real life situation.
I was like, I needed 2 more headphone extension cords for these guys because they wanted to use in-ears. Just so you know, I did give them the option, so that's on me. But like, I literally like detached a million things, not a million things, but a few things to like make it work. But like, that's something that took me years. Like I'm pushing 170, and I had needed all that time to learn how to do that. But to like take that curb and give it to you straight away, that to me is so important. That's invaluable. I think what Justin is doing, and Justin, shout out to you, man, if you're still tuning in. Wildly impressive. And Ben, that you're a part of it now over there, it's super cool. I genuinely didn't know that that's what was going on there.
Oh yeah.
And it makes me want to dive in a little bit more and maybe even try to get Justin to come and be a guest or something. Because I think that's very important, man.
It's very cool.
It's kind of like, I guess the thing I can relate it to is, teaching kids in high school how to write a check. Like this life skills that, no, let's teach them how to do standardized testing, but never teach them how to do anything practical.
Like make change.
Yeah.
Huge one
Amen
too.
for that.
You know,
True.
so
Write in cursive to do a signature. Who needs that? I mean,
Well, that's
100%.
That's the thing. I mean, some of the things that they did in this disaster show were just, I mean, we watched and we were laughing because it was funny, but at the same time we were like, we've all been there.
100%.
Just dumb things like the bass player picks up the bass off the wall, realizes that it's an active bass and there's no battery in it. He's scrambling trying to find a battery. Meanwhile, the guitarist has a distortion pedal with a battery in it, but also has a plug laying next to it. So he uses the plug, takes the battery out, it was just, and it was the teamwork watching where like one kid wasn't maybe getting it. And then someone else was like, hey, why don't you do this? Like, and the other thing is too, just being decent musicians, not as far as like how well they play, but decent human beings.
It goes a long way.
Yeah. Every time I see these kids play a show, and I see them at the end of the show all pull their money together and take a top, percentage off the top and go tip their sound guy.
Yeah.
Thank the audience, tip the staff, like things like that. It just, that goes a long way. Being a decent human being. I mean, they're going to get far in a band if for no other reason because they can get along with other musicians and they can make concessions and they can work together.
that's super cool.
Yeah, I just got exactly what Hector said, and just relating to that. That is 100% the reason why Killbillies has this kind of track record of, we'll teach you how to play it. It's because I would much prefer to be in a group of people who were good guys and then, we'll figure out the music later, than incredible musicians and dicks,
Yeah.
Because nothing worse than
100%.
having to spend all your time with a bunch of dicks,
True.
That's right.
Lucky for Ben, we're incredible musicians and good
dicks.
guys.
Oh,
Wait. That went totally wrong way.
Dicks on the brain.
What is it with you and dicks, Hector?
No fluffing on the show.
I'm sorry. And good guys.
Yes, that's
So
what
much
you meant
for
to
a
say.
repeat visit.
No, it's awesome. Justin, again, shout out to you. Great product there. And you guys are awesome. I'm going to, any shameless plugs from Jordan or Derek?
Well, I don't know if anybody has heard about it yet, but April 2nd, Matthews Brewing Company is the place to be because we got 561 Music Festival going down. You can buy tickets at 561musicfestival.com ahead of time. It's $10 ahead of time. Or if you want to get the MVP package, VIP, whatever you want to call it, you get a T-shirt. Just let them know what size.
Full access to James.
Full access to James.
And full access to James.
Full access to
Bonus.
fluffing. But no, guys, go see some of these bands. If you haven't heard them and you like local musicians, I've heard most of these bands. They are absolutely fantastic.
Amazing.
If you've heard Brad and you know I've called him one of the best in town, you know that I know good music. So obviously these are some of the best bands you're going to be able to hear all in one place. Go check it out if you got time on April 2nd.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Awesome. What about you, Jordan?
I second that.
Okay, good. All right, you guys. I'm gonna get through this as quickly as possible because we got another song from the Killbillies coming up. Thank you so much for tuning in live. Some really, really fun people tuning in live with us tonight. Love it, love it, love it. Again, please follow us on social media and on your favorite podcast platforms. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're rocking a Roku stick or Roku TV, add our Jams and Cocktails channel and give us 5 stars. We would love that. Big thanks.
One more. Make sure you check out 561 Music Podcast.
Yes. Yeah, look at you, Derek, and your shameless plugs. Big thanks to our sponsors and partners at Code Rum, Todd and Laura at tcnightlife.com, the most comprehensive entertainment calendar on the Treasure Coast in possibly in the entire universe, I think. Thanks to our friends at the Sneaky Tiki, Treasure Coast Entertainment, Snorkel Corn Entertainment, Hop Life Brewing Company, the Indie Bible, Roku Drizzly. That's right. And our friend Paul at the Drums and Rums podcast. Check them all out and support those who support us and support local whenever you can. You can catch my one-man band show around town this week. You can find all my upcoming show dates on bradbrock.com. shamelessplug.com. And next week on the show, we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but we will be talking about last year's most philanthropic music superstars. So some of them may actually surprise you. So don't miss it. And that does it, in fact, for my shameless plugs. All right, you guys. How about one more tune from the Killbillies?
Won't fall for it no more. All the traps they lay. I'm a law-abiding man in the southern USA. Now I'm not playing anymore. I'm not playing anymore. Now I'm not playing anymore. I'm not playing anymore.
Oh my God. Dude, you guys are so
Yeah.
great. You know,
So fun.
I love that song.
it's the banger, right?
Yeah, it
It's the
fits
bang-
the name. It's a banger. It's just a banger.
It is.
I love it.
agree.
So we haven't been able to rename it at all. Like we're gonna have to do like banger parentheses, not playing or something. Like because it's just fits.
It's so good.
The whole
Feel
premise
that.
of the song is it's very simple. It's just that basically, if you don't drink and cops pull you over, you can't get arrested. That's it. That's what the song is about.
I mean,
simple message.
Great point.
Important message.
yeah, sounds good to me.
I love that.
Oh
That's
man.
great.
Well, I just want to say, like, and I've said it many times on the show. One of the coolest parts about doing this, and you guys know this, is being able to sit in front of musicians doing their thing and get a personal private concert. Like it's just the dopest thing.
Yeah,
that
you nailed it. That's why we love doing it for that very reason.
It's so great. It's so great. And I thank you guys so much for being here. Absolutely. This was a huge treat and a long time coming.
Yes, we're very excited.
Awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Yes. Oh my God. My pleasure. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. It's Jordan's pleasure also, but it's mostly my pleasure.
Yeah.
You guys, thank you all out there in the metaverse for hanging with us. We hope you enjoyed the show. I'm going to say thank you to Jordan and Derek. Go Balls Deep. And the Kevin McLaughlin and Gavin hanging out in the sound room. I don't have a camera for you guys. But they're there. And of course, the Killbillies. You guys are amazing. Awesome. You guys, that does it for our show. Remember to drink some water for the love of God, support local, and take care of yourselves and each other. We're actually going to, I'm going to try not to choke up on this one. This was a little rough, even mentioning it to Jordan earlier, but we're going to leave you tonight with a special music video from our musical brother, Frank the Tank, who passed away suddenly this week.
Yeah.
So this episode is dedicated to him. We love you, Frank.
Big up, Frank.
Sail on, my friend. Broadcasting live from the new JNC studio. I'm Brad Rock. We love you. Good night, you guys.
For lead role in a cage.
The same old beat.